Yeah, what's wrong?
I'm still doing everything.
Timothy?
Oh my God.
Timothy?
Come on, buddy.
Timothy?
No, can't. This can't happen.
Timothy? Hey.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Who's the next thing?
He's okay?
He's cold.
Yeah, I know it's cold, but he's not sick, so it's okay. Still not sick. Come on.
Timothy?
Take a help in the dog.
Timothy?
Come on.
Timothy?
Get all that together. Come on, quick.
No. And it's still very, very wet.
Okay, do another. I'm sorry, sweetie.
Yeah. Timothy? Come on. Come on back.
I'm gonna go get some water.
People need to help me. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come on.
We can't close the door. That's usually a sign to do it. Come on. Come on, buddy. Get it in the job for me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Please, come on.
Timothy? Come on, Timothy.
I feel like I fell off or something. Come on.
Oh, no.
Well, then, that's a good thing. Come on. Go give me a top quick.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy. Cannot be happening. Come on, buddy. Come on, Timothy. Come on, buddy. Hurry up, buddy. There's one in the bathroom. Come on. Come on, Timothy. What? Did you hear something? Keep going. Keep going. I don't understand.
I don't hear it. Come on, yeah.
Come on, Jesus. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh, listen. Oh. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Get in your car. Yeah, it is. Come on, buddy. What the heck? What happened? Get the pants on the seat. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
You need to go. Come on.
Yeah.
Buddy, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, baby. His eyes should close so that baby touches them. You know what? Everything done. You can go home, buddy. Come on, buddy. You have your belt. You already put it on, baby. I just want to make it look like you didn't have it.
Yeah.
You have to follow me on the mother's side. When you leave. I don't know what to do. I woke up today to go to work. Yeah, and my son's not breathing. I woke up at 7, he's 15, he's been on the hunger strike, he wouldn't eat lately. And I've been checking on all night because he's still good about tonight, and I woke up to get ready for work this morning, and he's not breathing. He ate yesterday, but he hasn't eaten. He's driving me crazy because he wouldn't eat hardly, and he got really skinny and he won't eat. And I was just about to call the doctor this morning because he's just been horrible. I mean, he's a teenager. He's 15, and he didn't eat yesterday, but not a lot. I checked on Pat. I don't know, 5:30. He's got like brown stuff coming out of his mouth. I don't know, it's brown liquid.
it smells.
It's like dribbling out. It's not the first time he's done this with not eating, so. But my husband had said that I was stroke in January, and then his dad and stepmom told us they were divorced. And so it's been rough, and he's been, like I said, he's done 100 strikes before. I'm a little more worried.
What happened to 15-year-old Timothy Ferguson is something no child should ever endure. Behind the closed doors of a seemingly normal home in Norton Shores, Michigan, a teenager with special needs was slowly stripped of his dignity, his voice, and ultimately, his life. And all of it, according to those who once called it discipline, was done out of love. This is not just a story about cruelty. It's about control disguised as care. It's about a mother who used surveillance cameras and padlocks instead of hugs and help. It's about a boy whose only crime was being different and vulnerable. Timothy Ferguson was not just another teenager. He had piercing blue eyes and a quiet nature. Diagnosed with high-functioning autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder, and various speech and motor delays, Timothy needed patience, support, and love. What he got instead was surveillance, starvation, and silence. He was the fourth of 5 children born to Shanda Vander Ark and her former husband, Eric Ferguson. After a difficult separation and a 2012 Child Protective Services investigation, Shanda had relinquished her parental rights. The children remained with Eric in Oklahoma. For nearly a decade, Timothy was cared for by his father, until May 2021. Overwhelmed and struggling, Eric called Shanda with an ultimatum. Either she take Timothy back, or he would be placed in state care. By then, Shanda had remarried. Her new husband, Adam Vander Ark, was a calm presence in the home. Shanda had reinvented herself. Now a law school graduate, she had just passed the Michigan bar exam and was working as a court clerk in Muskegon County. She promised to give Timothy a fresh start. At first, everything seemed fine. Timothy arrived healthy and smiling. The family home on Marshall Road looked like any other suburban house. TikTok videos showed Timothy and his half-brother Paul wearing matching shirts, laughing together. For a moment, it looked like healing had begun, but it wouldn't last. In January 2022, just months after Timothy moved in, tragedy began to unfold. Adam, the stepfather, suffered a debilitating stroke. Unable to care for himself or navigate their 2-story home, he moved in with relatives, leaving Shanda alone with Timothy, Paul, and her youngest son. That's when everything changed. Without Adam's calming presence, Shanda's frustration deepened. She began to portray Timothy as a problem child, someone who deliberately set off alarms at night, who made noise just to disturb the household. But investigators would later conclude something far darker. Timothy wasn't a threat. He was a target. Shanda turned the house into a digital prison. Surveillance cameras were installed in nearly every room. Motion detectors and alarms were rigged throughout the house. Timothy was monitored constantly, even while Shanda was away at work. Food became restricted. The refrigerator and pantry were locked with child-proof mechanisms. Timothy's access to basic nutrition was removed, but the most horrific transformation was yet to come. He was removed from his bedroom and forced to live in a closet beneath the basement stairs. It was barely a space at all. No bed, no light, just a tarp on the cold concrete floor, and an Amazon box used as a makeshift toilet. A prosecutor would later describe it as a twisted Harry Potter closet, only smaller. Shanda called it discipline. Over the next year, what took place in that house was nothing short of psychological and physical torment. A mother who claimed to love her son documented every move he made, not to protect him, but to punish him. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we'll explore how the abuse escalated, how Timothy cried out without words, and how the very person who should have fought for his life became the orchestrator of his suffering. The small closet under the stairs became Timothy's prison. Shanda Vander Ark, his own mother, installed an alarm on the door so he couldn't leave without permission. There was no bed, no blankets, no dignity, only a blue tarp on the floor and the stench of human waste. Denied access to a bathroom, Timothy had no choice but to relieve himself where he slept. Some might wonder if these claims are exaggerated. They're not. Over 80 pages of text messages between Shanda and her son Paul tell a story so cruel it shook even veteran detectives. These weren't accusations. They were digital confessions. Orders, updates, chilling in their cold, calculated tone. "He's already pushing all my buttons," Paul wrote to his mother in one message. Shanda didn't respond with concern. She gave instructions. Punish him. Timothy was fed nothing but slices of bread slathered in one of the world's hottest hot sauces, Elijah's extreme regret. Its label warned of searing pain, likening the experience to swallowing fire. But Shanda wasn't deterred. In fact, she encouraged even more unthinkable actions. "I wonder how it would feel to have that hot sauce on your private parts," she texted Paul. Not saying touch there, not at all, but dripping a little bit there. Is that horrible? This was not discipline. It was torture. And it was directed by a mother toward her disabled son. Paul followed orders. He forced Timothy to do squats until he collapsed, to run up and down stairs as if being hunted, and to stand for hours facing a wall. If Timothy, driven by starvation, dared to sneak food from the trash, Paul would force him to vomit it up with his fingers, again, under his mother's direction. By June 2022, the prolonged abuse had devastated Timothy's body. His teenage frame, which should have weighed around 140 pounds, had shrunk to less than half that. Gaunt and hollow-eyed, he could barely stand. Paul began to notice his brother's skeletal appearance. Concerned, he texted Shanda photos of Timothy's emaciated limbs. "He's bone-thin, Mama," Paul wrote. "I think we need to actually feed him," Shanda's reply. "Okay, give him bread, please. The unresponsiveness is probably fake." That was her answer, to feed bread to a boy who was dying of starvation before her eyes. In court, the prosecutor later confronted her about this. When asked why she didn't offer something substantial, chicken nuggets, pizza, even leftovers, her answer was simple. "No, sir." By July, Timothy's condition was catastrophic. At 69 pounds, he was wasting away, his body consuming itself in a desperate effort to survive. But Shanda and Paul didn't stop. Instead, they escalated. On July 5, 2022, Paul placed Timothy in a bathtub filled with ice water. It wasn't for relief, it was a punishment. And it would be Timothy's final one. He remained submerged in that ice bath for over 9 hours. By the end of the night, his lips were blue, his body shutting down. At 11:49 p.m., Shanda texted Paul. "I ended up dragging him back into his small room because I wasn't going to risk having him access to the tub or other things overnight. I'll tell you more tomorrow while I take you to work," describing how many different ways I proved that he is faking. He's still doing it, though. But Timothy wasn't faking. He was dying. By the next morning, he would be gone. Even as her son lay on the edge of death, Shanda Vander Ark refused to believe it. At 6:09 a.m. on July 6, 2022, she sent her final message to Paul. "Time to get up and check on Timothy." The footage from inside that house, captured by the very cameras Shanda installed, is among the most disturbing pieces of evidence ever shown in a courtroom. Paul opened the closet door. What he saw wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. Timothy was unresponsive. His frail body lay twisted on the tarp, barely breathing, his mouth open, gasping for air like a fish out of water. He was dying. Moments later, Shanda walked in, pulled the tarp flat, grabbed her son by the arms, and dragged him into place like a piece of furniture. His eyes were wide open, but they saw nothing. And then came the final cruelty. "You're pathetic," Shanda said. "But I already knew that." She squeezed his lips tightly between her fingers and added, "See? You don't need to breathe through your mouth like that, dummy." Those were the last words Timothy Ferguson heard on this earth. Not love, not mercy, not apology, just humiliation. 18 minutes passed before they finally called 911. On the call, Shanda lied. She claimed Timothy had fallen from a bunk bed and was refusing to eat. But when paramedics arrived at the house on Marshall Road, they immediately saw through it. Timothy's body weighed just 69 pounds. His bones were visible beneath paper-thin skin. His face, hollow. His eyes, lifeless.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Officer Stefanich. Right now, we got some people coming over to talk to you, okay? You have another son inside the house?
I have two. Yeah.
Are they sleeping still right now?
One of them is, yeah. The 20-year-old's awake.
He's 20?
No, the 20-year-old's awake.
Okay.
He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple of weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me. He's 15. He's been...
He has autism?
Yeah.
Like a high functioning?
Yeah. I had no clue how bad it was. Oh my God. Like I said, he did this back in, my husband's stroke was January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So he did this back in, second week of January for almost 3 weeks. And then he ate something last night. I can't remember what it was now, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where's your husband now?
He's down at his parents' house because he can't get in our house because of his drunk. He can't get up the stairs.
Oh.
And nobody's answering the phone at their house. Oh, how did it? Oh.
You can go back in the house if you want, but I can't. I gotta keep the basement secure. You can't go down there, okay?
I get it. I had no idea. I would have taken him in or something. Oh.
Now, you said the last time you saw him was 5:30 this morning?
Yeah.
Did he say anything?
He had fallen out of bed.
At 5:30?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't earlier?
I mean, it's possible. I thought it was 5:30, but I wasn't super awake. I heard a thump, and I came down, and he's kind of laying on his side, kind of like, what the heck? And I reached out. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. And I reached out and he pulled himself up, and I asked him if he's okay, and I just asked if he hit his head. He said, no, I think I hit my knees on my chest. I think. He couldn't tell me how he fell. Oh my God. No, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. He said it was okay. And then...
Do you have other family here in town?
Well, in West Olive, but they're not answering. Yeah. My father-in-law's an attorney.
Best thing to do is surround yourself with family. Help you get, because right now you're going through it by yourself, and you get overwhelmed.
I had no idea. How could I have missed that? He's been wearing baggy. I mean, he was wearing a hoodie for crying out loud, and I just didn't. His face didn't look like that. What the heck?
Now, what's your first name, ma'am?
Shanda, Shanda.
And what's your last name? Is it Ferguson also?
No, it's Vander Ark. Vander space capital ARK. That's why I asked him to eat last night, because his face started looking a little. I'm like, okay, enough. And he wouldn't show. I'm like, let me see. Hold your shirt up. And he wouldn't hold his shirt up. He wouldn't do anything.
Did he get real skinny last time too?
Yes. The only reason I know is because my 7-year-old walked in on him accidentally when he was in the shower downstairs. And then my 7-year-old comes up and he's like, Mama, Timothy's really skinny. I was like, oh, crap.
Was that this time or last time?
That was last time. That was like first week of February is when DC discovered that.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him he was either going to start eating multiple times a day, or I was taking him to the hospital, and he didn't want to go to the hospital, so he
ended up eating on his own.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so this last time, was it because your husband's wasn't home?
He hasn't been home since January 3rd, but he had a grand mal seizure. God, it's been 3 weeks ago now. And it was right after that, he actually mentioned he was hungry the day his dad and stepmom called to tell us they were divorced and moving to Florida last week.
Where do they live?
They lived in Oklahoma, but they moved to outside of Jacksonville, Florida, and they're not answering their phone either.
Okay. And that's his biological father?
Yeah. Yeah. He moved up here with us last May because his dad couldn't handle him. And he's been great. I mean...
Last May, like, as in May of last year or this year?
Yeah, May of last year.
Okay.
May of last year.
And he goes to school and everything, he was?
I've been homeschooling him online. Because it's high functioning. He's just done better at it. I can show you his grade report online. I've got all it's online.
Okay. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he was failing math, which is not unusual, but he was passing everything else.
What's his date of birth?
8/6/2006. I tried to check it in the last few days, and he just wouldn't let me anywhere near him. He didn't want a kiss, a hug, nothing.
Probably didn't want you to give him a hug, because then you could tell that he was...
I would have known. And like I told him he was stumbling a little bit last night, but he's not the most coordinated kid in the world. And he said it was okay. And then he ate.
What was the last time he ate, you think?
Last night. No, Gabriel, keep him up there. He ate toast.
There's two. There's a 7-year-old and a 20-year-old.
The 7-year-old was asleep. I guess he's not now. Oh my God. I should have made him eat. No. I feel like such a failure. You see there's food in the house. Oh my God.
Where does he sleep at? Right there? In that room?
That loft bed.
Okay. So notice there's another loft bed in another room.
Yeah, that's my 7-year-old, but he's been sleeping with me since the youngest is my husband's and mine.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been sleeping with me since his daddy had a stroke.
Okay.
Because he's scared. And I offered to let Timothy move in there but he wanted to stay in his bed. Oh my God. No. I should have made him eat. I should have done something. Can they really hide that from you like that?
They can hide a lot of things from you.
Oh my gosh.
What's your date of birth, ma'am?
3/13 of 79.
What's your phone number?
I'm sorry. Area code 405-537-6900.
Okay. You can call. You can make some calls if you want again.
I'll try again in a minute. I'm sorry. I don't know what.
Oh, nothing I could say could help you through this. You know, the best thing is to do is just bring your loved ones in and just.
His baby brother doesn't know what's going on, and I'm gonna have to tell him eventually, but I don't want to yet. Oh my gosh.
Well, we have to investigate every death. So I can't let anybody go in the basement for now.
Okay.
A medical examiner's going to be coming here in a little bit.
I'm sorry, it's a little cluttered down there, but
You're fine.
I'm sure y'all have seen a lot worse.
Okay. You're probably going to get asked same questions multiple times, so I'm sorry for that.
Oh, it's fine. Like I said, I feel like I just missed something.
So if you want
How
to...
did he hide that from me? How did he do that? Oh. I work in White Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, that's a
love
long
my
way.
job. I'm law clerk to the circuit court judge up there. I love my job, but yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. How could this happen?
Pardon?
Where does he sleep?
Down there, right there in that room.
So that's
The bed.
Yeah.
You see the pillow and the blanket and stuff?
He sleeps on the top bunk?
Yeah, it's a loft. There's no on a bunk. There's
Okay.
stuff underneath it.
Oh, it's like a desk on the underneath?
Yeah, well, yeah, the desk got broken, but there's boxes underneath it.
So you heard him fall.
Yeah.
That woke you up?
Yeah.
And you went down there and he was...
And I helped him up. I asked him if he wanted something to eat because the first time I noticed anything on even his face was last night. And he said, "No, I'm not hungry." I said, "Did you hit your head?" And I checked his head to make sure he didn't have anything. I noticed he has some scratches on his face. I'm like, "Are you okay?" "No, I'm fine." And then I watched him get back up on his bed. And then I went back upstairs. And then I woke up and I wanted to check on him this morning when I was getting ready for work. So I went down there and I said something and he didn't wake up, and I shook him and he didn't respond.
Was he on the bed when you came down there?
Yes.
And then you pulled him down and started CPR?
Yes.
Okay.
I called 911. My 20-year-old was getting up because I was going to drop him off at work early because his e-bike has a flat tire. Oh my gosh. I should have noticed this. I should have seen this. Oh my gosh.
All right. We have people coming to talk to you called victim services. They'll help you through
Thank you.
the grieving process because
Please. I feel... He's really good at hiding stuff. That's part of the reason his dad couldn't handle him is because he kept lying about stuff.
how old is he?
15. He'll be 16 in August.
Okay.
But his dad texted me last May and said, "I can't handle him anymore. I have to send him to live with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely."
Why was that? What did he do that?
He said he was lying to him. He was destroying things.
Is he hard to deal with?
I don't think so, but I'm stricter than his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that, I mean, he's the lying's been a problem. But nothing major.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
No. He's
All teenagers lie.
tripped down the stairs a couple of times, like just half the flight. And then later he came back to me, admitted he did it intentionally. But I've asked him, I'm like, "You're trying to hurt yourself?" He's like, "No, I just wanted to see what would happen." That's the way, a lot of time, he wants to see what would happen if he does stuff. And, oh my gosh.
And I guess he's prescribed ADHD medicine, but he's not taking it.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to sleep with it. And he was doing really well, and he asked me if he could not take it, and I said, okay. And it was killing his appetite. That doesn't help. He quit taking it about the time of the first hunger strike, because when he finally started eating, and he was.
But he did eat last night, you said?
Yes. He had some toast with butter on it, is what he had. That's all he wanted to eat. He said his stomach was a little upset, he didn't want to eat anything else. Oh my gosh. You want to go check on the other kids?
Yeah, you can do that for sure.
I know my 20-year-old's got my 7-year-old, but still.
Nope, that's...
Hey. Paul. You okay up here? I'm sorry I spluttered, John. I'm really sorry. Oh my God. I knew I should have made him eat, but he just wouldn't. Did you notice he was covering up with big clothing? You didn't notice, never mind. I love you, dear, but you never noticed it.
Do you have a picture of him before he started losing weight?
Yeah. See if I can find it. It's a picture of a teenager.
You doing all right? Yeah, it's almost like you're in a daze. Like you don't know what's real and what's not. Have you been talking to him at all recently?
I talked to him yesterday morning to get him up.
That was right basically when we started.
Okay, so how long ago was that?
Did you know that he was in this hunger strike?
I think sorry.
I mean,
Did I tell you or not? I don't know if I did or
no,
not.
I don't think you did.
Because he's skin and bone.
I know, and it's just, how did he?
He's really.
Well, he doesn't communicate with him hardly at all. Like, they say hi and they don't. Yeah, he's.
Are you guys full brothers or half brothers?
They're full. The only half is the one that's in there.
Okay.
Little miracle.
Yeah.
I might as well get your name while I'm here. You're probably going to be asked this 1,000 times, but what's your first name, son?
Paul. P-A-U-L.
What's your middle name?
Byron.
He's saying he's very
B-Y-R-O-N.
sick right now because of the stroke. I'm ready.
And last name?
Ferguson. F-E-R-G-U-S-O-N.
Nobody's answering the phone here.
What's your date of birth?
04 or
It says
10th of April 2002.
You have your own phone number?
I recently got a new phone, so I'll have to look at my new number.
Hold on, I'll find it for you.
+1 231 666 4638.
And when was the last time you talked to Tim?
Yesterday morning when I was getting him up.
No, yesterday afternoon before you left for work. Before I picked you up and took you to work because your e-bike tire was flat. You talked to him then.
Yeah. I got off of work at 1
All right.
this morning.
Has he talked to you recently about his problems at all, or what he's dealing with?
No, he never said any of word to me.
Hardly talk at all.
Did you guys have normal conversations?
I think the last time we did was before all of this happened. After that,
They
he just kind of
literally,
shut himself.
because he works a lot and they didn't talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes brothers will tell each other what
That's true.
they're not willing to tell their parents.
Why you went on hunger strike? I mean, I'm assuming
He
it's.
didn't even tell me anything about it.
He didn't even know anything about it, he said, so. Say everything that's going on. Or what I've been instructed to do. All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, you're going to be charged with child abuse right now. I believe it's the first or second degree, so it is a felony. So you won't be able to get out of jail until you see the judge, until the warrant paperwork's down there. Okay, which will probably be tomorrow. All right.
Sorry,
No, I'm the bearer of bad news right now. You know? Yeah, it's been a bad couple days.
Bad 6 months. It's been having strokes. Sorry.
Nope, you're all right. I do have to handcuff you, but I'll do it in the front.
If my blood sugar crashes, I need that.
Are you diabetic?
I'm reactive hypoglycemic.
Okay. Do you take medication for that?
No. I have a service dog normally, but I didn't bring him.
Yeah.
For good reason.
All right. I can let you have that all the way up until the jail. But the jail won't let you bring in any kind of food or nothing. So if you want to drink it, you can always drink it now.
Just worried I will keep it to my stomach.
All right.
I haven't been able to keep anything down
Oh,
the last couple of days.
I don't want you puking then if you're going to try to drink it.
I can try. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. So I got my handcuffs on you. I'm going to do it in the front because I don't. You're not going to give me any problems. But we're going to have to go down there.
Strength.
Pardon?
I don't have the strength to do anything. I wouldn't anyway. Did y'all lose an officer?
But I have to cuff you down.
Did y'all lose somebody?
Yes, a Detroit officer was killed yesterday.
I'm so sorry.
Yep. Come this way. I need you. I want to see if there's a girl here to check your pockets. All right, let's come over here and sit down. Relax for a second. Because like I said, I'm the bearer of bad news, I know. Just have a seat for a second. Relax. bag here, including all your jewelry.
All I've got's that.
Pardon?
All I've got's those.
Okay.
Okay, I'm lightheaded. I'm sorry.
That's right. Take these on. Can you set, sir?
Huh?
Can you set all you set?
I'm trying not to. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You have a shirt on underneath there? You have to take your sweatshirt off, but you get to keep it. It just makes it easier to search.
Okay. But I get to keep it.
Yes.
Okay.
You probably won't be able to keep the headband though. They usually make.
What about the scrunchie?
Probably not. Anything that you might be able to hurt yourself with, they take automatically.
You gotta hurt yourself with the scrunchie.
Yeah, I know. Belts and stuff like that, shoelaces. All right. What kind of shoes you got?
They're basics.
All right. I'll have to take them in a little bit here, but I like to have them keep it on you as long as possible. So it's because the floor is cold.
And it's cold in here.
Yep, that's why it's actually good. It's good that you got the sweatshirt. Looks like she's already coming. So go ahead and slip your shoes off there.
Socks too, or just shoes?
Just shoes. You get to keep your socks.
Thank God.
Yep.
Hey.
Howdy, howdy.
What's going on?
Long time no see.
I know, right?
I try not to come here.
I know, right? I need you to take a headband off for me too as well.
She has a scrunchie also.
Yep, they gotta come out this way.
Sorry.
There's something wrong with you?
She's feeling a little lightheaded.
No, my stomach's really upset.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Alright. Vendor, do you have any other last names?
By my maiden name,
What's your maiden name?
Ramsey.
You do drugs?
No. I haven't been able to keep anything down since yesterday.
Oh,
She's had a rough 2 days.
okay.
Her 15-year-old son died yesterday, and she's charged with child abuse.
Okay.
So she has a lot of medical problems, but she really doesn't take any medication. But she does need
Any mental health issues at all? ADHD?
ADHD, OCD, and
OCD just
sensory.
means she's cooking one spot over and over again, they say.
Sometimes.
That's actually one form, it's not the form.
I know what OCD is.
She does have. She says allergy-induced asthma, so she can't wear masks.
I had a doctor's note, I didn't bring it with me, I didn't know.
I hate to tell you this is not school. Doctor notes do not work. We have our own doctors and they will deal with you on that.
And then she does have asthma, so she might need albuterol as an emergency.
Do you have a prescription for albuterol?
Ventolin, albuterol, yeah.
You can place your hands up there. That's going to be harmless. Spread your legs. Spread your legs further.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just like the hands. There you go. Yeah, there's pictures on the wall for you, my dear.
I'm not.
That's all right.
I'm not ready.
You've never done this before, so.
You got a bra?
No, I just wear a camisole. It's more comfortable, I don't have much to hold in.
Ready to put up?
Can I put it down?
When I get done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you put your leg
Oh,
down.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Ready to put up? You take your hands down. You can open your mouth and see your tongue. Lift your tongue.
I took her temperature. It's 96.
I saw it.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know if we started doing that or not.
What?
Temperature.
Yep. You could grab your shoes.
I kind of made a mess of the booking sheet, but I fixed it. I just put stuff in the wrong spot.
First, second, third, fourth.
They just said the felony, which would be first, I believe. And I asked specifically, I said, what charge? And they said child abuse. I'm like, there's like a whole bunch of them. So.
All right.
Go ahead, follow her.
You can grab some shoes.
Okay. You go back. Saturday,
Sunday. Yeah, I think it's a morning shift.
Are you working 2 different jobs? Did you say you're working 2 different
No, I used to work 2 different jobs.
okay. Heard you
when
say
I lived
that.
in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Because I think your little brother was like, I want to work 2 jobs. And you're like, no, you don't.
No, 4 hours of sleep maximum was a nightmare.
That's a joke. That's not even funny, actually. Huh. Yeah, 4 hours doesn't sound like a lot to get anything done. What kind of jobs are you doing then?
Fast food.
Okay.
And I had one before, and then after I graduated from an alternative school early, I started a second one that was by my biological father's demands, basically.
Okay. Have you talked to him at all recently, biological father? Does he know about what's going on? Or?
I don't think quite yet. The last time we talked to him was last week.
Okay.
He and my stepmother got a divorce. So they called and let us know about all that.
What is your relationship like with him? I mean, do you associate with him at all or not really?
Not really. I found out that a lot of what he's told me about my biological mother up here was nothing more than blatant lies.
Okay.
He said that she didn't care for me, that she never wanted to see me, which were both lies. It was just, he's a control freak.
Okay.
And he's very manipulative.
Okay.
My stepmother's names were never even on anything for like paying bills or for school stuff. It was all him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's very much in
Yes.
control of everything.
Yes. So, and, I know that night Timothy did eat because we had pizza. He had 3 slices.
I
of cheese.
want to stop you for just a second
Yeah,
because
sorry.
that's okay. I don't want to talk anything specific about the case just yet.
Okay.
Since the police showed up at your house and they brought you down here, I want to advise you some rights before we talk about that sort of thing. What I do want you to know, though, is that we went through the phones, okay?
Okay.
And we're beginning to go through the phones, and there's a lot of evidence in the phones, and I know that you're kind of aware of communication between yourself and your mother.
Yes.
And those sort of things. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, certainly those are very serious things that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And, from what I saw, it sounds like you're compassionate in that you cared about him and you sent some pictures that were like, he's looking too skinny and we need to feed him. And, there's sometimes you get frustrated, but at the end of the day, you kept coming back to caring. But the end result of that, he passed away, right? And he passed away from not eating food.
Yeah.
But I want you to be aware of this stuff, okay? So these are your Miranda rights, right? So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk with an attorney and the right to his presence before or during any questioning. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed at public expense to represent you before any questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When we talk about, I just jump right into it.
Yeah.
I know that we talked yesterday, and I know that not everything that we talked about was the truth yesterday. That's okay. Yeah. You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel guilty about not telling the truth to me, okay? I want you to just focus on yourself right now and think about what's best for you.
Yeah.
And let's try to get to the truth of what really happened with your brother, because he deserves that. There's clearly a lot of messages about stuff that you guys are doing with him, about what he's eating, about restricting his food. How did that all work? Like, what was he allowed to eat?
We stopped the food restrictions recently because we had noticed his thin. We wanted to get that back on. We didn't want any of this. We never wanted him to be injured or hurt.
Okay.
I loved him so much.
Yeah, I can tell that.
I
I can
can-
certainly tell that. When you say we, you're talking about your mother. And
Yes, she loved him. We wanted what's best.
Yeah.
The thing is, he was stuck in the past.
Okay. What, so you stopped the food restriction. When did that kind of happen? Like, ballpark that for me.
2 weeks, approximately. We were hoping that we could get enough where he would be safe, and then we could continue to add it back to where we wouldn't have to worry, and we could.
What were the restrictions?
We made sure that it was still something that gave him enough calories and everything. It was rice or bread, and like I said last week, he got pizza.
Okay. What were they in place for, like, in the first place?
Sneaking food over and over and over.
Okay.
We've tried everything. We were nice. We tried different consequences, but he never listened.
What were some of the other types of consequences? Like prior to, like, are we talking like?
We did take away his devices.
Okay.
Because that was also because he wouldn't stay on his school sites and would just go and try and play games or watch YouTube.
Okay.
But the thing is, he should have been held back so much.
Yeah.
But he passed all of his final exams. So I don't think it was my stepmother. My stepmother was amazing.
Yeah.
But I believe it was my father's doing.
Okay. Helping him pass exams. Was it all online school?
No, back in Oklahoma, he went to public. The thing is, he never really did any of the other work, but when it came to final exams, he had everything he needed to know. So they let him move to the next grade, which was just...
Right. So, you guys lived together back in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
What was life like back there?
Hectic.
Okay.
My step nieces, my stepmother's grandchildren lived with us.
Okay.
Because of stuff that was going on between their mother and their father. My stepmother had custody.
Yeah.
And we had, at that point, we were living in a 4-bedroom with 8 people in the house.
Jeez.
Yeah. And
Did you share a room with him then?
yes, and it absolutely smelled. Because even then, even when the bathroom was literally just a couple feet away, he wouldn't get up and go.
Okay. And what is that? You kind of told me about it yesterday, but you said there was some sort of problem that he had that caused that, or?
Yeah.
You don't-
I mean,
you don't
I
know
don't
about it?
honestly know. That's what I've assumed.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure it's been basically his whole life that this has been happening. And it's not just that. He's urinated in places back in Oklahoma, in his closet, dressers, everything.
Okay. He's, what type of, like, disorders does he have that you're aware of?
I know he has ADHD. I believe he has sensory processing.
Okay.
I was never there for any sort of autism spectrum test, but from what I've seen, I know that probably was a thing. I also know he was motor and speech impaired. He couldn't run right and talk right. I think when he was younger, he had to have a surgery on his ears to have tubes put in because he has heightened hearing. That was very loud noises could be painful.
Okay. So too much.
Yeah. The fact is that he could hear my stepmother talking with a friend about going to a movie with the TV when it was on really high volume.
Okay.
Because one of those sort of pointers.
What about you? Do you have any of those sort of things or anything?
I have ADHD.
Okay.
And I think they said I was diagnosed with sensory processing, but from what my mother has told me, that's just no.
What is that? I'm not surprised. What's sensory processing?
It's basically when you overreact to things way too much.
Yeah.
And I guess loud noises and things and bright lights are disturbing. For me, there's not really any of that. The only problems I have is when someone's music has a lot of bass drumming in it.
Okay.
For me, that'll feel like someone's smashing my ribs with a mallet.
Okay.
That's why I don't hardly listen to music very high if it's got bass drums because it hurts.
Yeah, that would make sense. Did you go to school?
Yes, I went to the school back in Oklahoma. I graduated from Santa Fe High School.
Okay.
I've even got the diploma and I stand in my room.
Okay. So you graduated from high school. What did you kind of do after that? You just...
I know that my father had kicked me out after, I think May 2 years ago or so.
So like 20, May of 20? Is that
20? Yeah, and due to COVID, the graduation had been postponed to July. And I managed to get my bio mom's number at that point and was capable of talking to her and telling her how all of this had happened.
Yeah.
And I also asked some of the things about what Dad had told me, the whole, did you really not care?
Right.
And from what he told, and I'm pretty sure it's scientifically impossible that she had her tubes undone for Gabriel, which, from what I'm guessing, that's an impossibility, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
So he's a little miracle child.
Fair enough.
He's a blessing to this world.
Yeah. Does your mom feel like that? Certainly. That he's a blessing.
Of course.
Yeah.
She loves him so much.
Yeah.
She loved every single one of us, but my dad's controllish, freaky nature was just... He didn't want her having any contact and screwing all of his control up.
Okay.
And there was a thing back in Oklahoma where I had problems with emotional release. I was so terrified of him that I didn't ever want to release any of the negative emotions I ever had around him. There were times where I wanted to say no, but I was so terrified that I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Here, I can release my anger, and I do it in the right ways. I never do it in any way that I'm not supposed to.
Okay.
And if I unintentionally cop an attitude with my mother, I realize it, and I apologize, telling her that I did not mean to, that I just slipped a small amount, and then I'm going to go and do something to calm down.
Will there be any sort of consequence for your mom if you slipped up with her attitude-wise, or how would that work?
There were times when I would cop an attitude that was unnecessary, and she would have me get off devices for maybe 15 minutes, because usually that was what it was revolved around, because I'll be honest, I have an addiction to my devices.
Okay.
It's not something I can really do without, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. I never had very much of that back in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
My dad was strict. He didn't even give me a phone. My sister and my stepsister had phones before I did. And that was due to the fact that he could not raise a male.
Right.
And at first he thought that the ADHD was just ADD, because like my mother, I could hyperfocus, which is actually a symptom of ADHD.
Right. And then, so now you're in work. I know we talked yesterday about how you're paying bills and
yep. And unlike my father, she doesn't force me to give her half of my paycheck. He forced that on me.
Yeah.
And I was working basically minimum wage at both.
Yeah, that's tough.
It was nightmarish. And the thing is that my stepmother didn't even know about that until after I had moved and I had told her.
Okay.
And she apologized so heavily because she was just going to want some stuff to help with rent at times.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And when he asked to borrow money, he never paid it back. And my mother has paid it back every time. Whether it's in a way like paying for the bike payments for my electronic bike, because, we put a down payment and then we have to do the consecutive payments for it.
Was that your first, would you consider that like your first big purchase on your own? Your electric bike, or have you purchased like more expensive things?
More expensive than that? I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
What about PCs? How much you spend a decent amount of money on computers, or trying to just piece them together, or?
We spent good amounts because Minecraft is something I've always loved.
Yeah.
And because for me, for the ADHD, being able to build and be creative creative is just something that I absolutely adored.
Okay.
And it also was something that I liked doing for YouTube. I have a YouTube channel myself. It's not popular or anything, but it is it's something that I was inspired by from the Preston Plays and the recently passed Technoblade.
Yeah. Okay. So, you come here with Mom about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Timothy comes about a year ago. You said, I think you said yesterday, the same date even, right?
Yeah, the same
Right
date
about
that
the same date.
I left the house. I moved here into Michigan, I think, on the 30th.
Okay.
Because for the time after I had moved out of my parents' house, I stayed with my Uncle Dave and Aunt Linda,
Okay.
who both had actually been tricked by my father to also believe that my mother was bad, until she managed to clear the air.
Yeah. So, you say the same date, but a year later, does that sound right?
Yeah, I moved here at a later date, but he moved up here on the day I was basically kicked out.
Gotcha.
My dad had basically put a timeline, like I had to move out by a certain date and have my own house and be on my own 2 feet, which the thing is, he never prepared me for any of this.
Right.
Like I said, I love him, but most of the respect I had for him is gone.
So Timothy comes up here. What's life like immediately when he gets up here?
It was good at first. The thing is, this has happened before. Not like moving up from somewhere, but for the whole thing where I think he said, back in Oklahoma, I think once or twice he had said something about being suicidal.
Okay.
And we had put him in my stepmother and father agreed on this, that he could be institutionalized.
Right.
And when he got back, the first couple of weeks were good. He didn't misbehave, but then after that, it just reverted back to what he was doing before.
Okay.
The destructiveness and everything.
Explain that, like the destructiveness.
It was very dangerous. He would pull the outlet covers off. He would screw with the light fixtures. It was our house in Edmond was his room. He'd pull the studs out of the wall, rip off the paint. It was, yeah.
Were you able to have a conversation with him like you and I are having, like a back and forth conversation, or he wasn't able to talk like that?
He could talk, but the thing is that it would mostly be hard to understand.
Okay.
Because of the speech impairment, I think I don't know what that word is.
Speech impediment?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
But, he was in therapy for that and the motor.
When you up here?
No, in Oklahoma.
Do you know him being in any therapy or anything up here?
No.
Okay. Do you know if you ever went to the doctor at all?
Here? No, honestly, we never, until, I don't know, we managed, since we stopped the last hunger strike and managed to get him back to a safe weight, we were hoping and praying that he wouldn't need any sort of assistance at that point, which he didn't. He was fine. But then this whole ordeal happened, and I honestly feel like we should have taken him to the doctor sooner. We could have done something, but with all this that has happened, it's just...
Yeah. How long ago do you think you probably should have taken him to the doctor?
Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I'd say the day after the divorce. We got the message about the divorce. And the thing is that my mother can't even face my father right now. She doesn't want to call him because the one thing that she and I both know is that he's going to hurl every ounce of blame that he can at her.
Right. So when was that divorce?
I think it was exactly a week ago today or tomorrow. Something like that.
So about a week ago, you thought, hey.
Yeah,
I saw on your phone that you had sent a couple pictures to your mom.
Yes.
Pretty skinny, and you said, hey, he's nothing but skin.
Yeah, I was very concerned. It just...
Yeah, what do you think then maybe would have been a good time to take him to the doctor, or?
Yeah, honestly, that probably would have been one too. I don't know.
And then you sent a picture of like his legs that were just basically gone, right? So
Yeah.
no wonder he can't stand, or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, but the thing is, before yesterday, and I think the day before, he could walk.
Yeah.
He might need a little support every so often, like he put his hand against the wall or grab the rail of the stairs. But after a couple of seconds, he'd let go and be fine.
Okay.
It was never anything major.
Yeah. When was like the last time he was really like talking to you, like able to have a conversation, or at least try to have a conversation?
Last time he actually talked was 3 days ago, but the day before, or the day after that, the day before yesterday, he could talk. He talked a small amount in the morning, but then he just sort of was making groans and moans, and it concerned me. As my mother was driving me to work, I recommended that maybe we should take him to the hospital.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that ever happened or not.
What did she say about that when you made that recommendation?
I don't know. I think after that, I think that was like as I was getting out of the car and shutting the door.
So we're talking. So today's the 7th. Yesterday the 6th. What day are we talking about? The last time he was really kind of talking outside of the morning groan?
The 5th. He talked some in the morning. He was responsive.
Yeah.
That much I know.
What's the deal with the photograph in the bathtub of his face? Like zoomed in on his face.
He had been taking a bath.
Okay.
And I went in there to check on him at one point, and he's just kind of laying there. I'm like, "Bud, you okay?" He didn't respond, but he was looking around, and he was breathing. I know that much.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So at that time, but he wasn't talking at that time.
No, and it started to concern me. I'm not sure if I texted Mama about it or not.
Well, you sent a picture to her.
Yeah, I probably should have said something about the ER at that point, though.
Well, certainly.
It's so stupid.
You have to think about it like this, right? She's a grown adult, and if she sees that, that's not all on you, right? You made, from what I see, you made numerous attempts to say, we need to do something different about this.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing this to him.
I know she's a good person.
And it's not about.
I don't know if this is both of our faults. If we should have done something sooner. I know we both could have.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to think about this. Right now is not a time about blaming people, but it's a time to try to figure out, when could we have changed things? What could we have done differently? How did we get to the point where we were at? Because, clearly where you guys got to, when you say he was in the bath, that wasn't a nice, enjoyable bath though, right? That was a punishment bath, right? That's a cold, ice cold bath. And that's hard to understand.
I did wash. I did tell him that if he wanted to wash up, and he did. But then, in the middle of it, I think the whole laying there in a daze happened.
When he's getting these ice baths, I know there's numerous of them, right? I mean, because I've read through the messages.
Yes.
How are you getting the ice? Like, where's it coming from?
We have an ice machine upstairs. It's not a lot. I can barely create any. It's enough to make it a full-on.
But it's a cold bath.
Yeah.
And you're putting ice in there? Like, one dump of ice, 2 dumps?
One dump. Yeah, it's maybe that much.
And then you're just running cold water, or what type of water?
The water doesn't exactly go cold.
Okay.
It says there's a cold button, but it's basically sort of lukewarm-ish.
How many times would you estimate that you guys gave cold baths as a punishment for not behaving or whatever for whatever reason?
I think for punishments, it was. I don't exactly know the number, but it wasn't a lot.
Are we talking like 5, 10, 20, every day, every other day? Like any idea?
5. But
whose idea was it to give him a cold bath as a punishment?
It was my mother's. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it would be a punishment effective or not. I don't.
Do you remember the first time you guys did it? Like why? Like what did he do?
Not exactly.
What did he do on that day that you sent the photo that made you have to give him a cold bath?
I think it was that he not only peed, but also pooped in bed, and my mother wasn't too happy because it absolutely reeked.
Yeah. And when we talk about bed, I understand we've been to the house and we've been through all the messages.
Yeah.
Where did he sleep most of the nights? In that closet?
Yes.
When did that kind of start happening? Or
Um,
had he always been staying there?
no, he hadn't always.
Okay.
But the thing was, the loft bed, if you've noticed,
Yeah.
the screws and stuff, that was his doing.
Okay.
And we couldn't get it safely back.
Yeah. So he's sleeping in the closet.
Yes, we made sure that it was cleaned. He had a mattress in there, but then he decided to rip off the cover, like a sort of plastic cover we'd put on there to keep it from getting smelly and
Yeah.
disgusting. We always wanted what's best for him. I don't know.
So you guys decide to move him into the closet. There's an alarm on the door. Is that so? What's that for?
When he would try and sneak, because if you notice, there was also one on the garage door. That was also because, yeah, there's some food in there that he would try and sneak.
Right.
And it wasn't just that he was hungry at some points for those. It was that he wanted something sweet. And yeah, at times he would be taking stuff that was going to have plans for food, actual food.
Yeah, I agree. I see exactly what you're saying.
And I don't know about the whole, I don't know, just bread at some points, but we did start giving him actual better food.
When you talk about the bedroom being moved into that closet, is that your idea or was that your mom's idea?
That was my mother's. Yes.
And so how long do you think he was staying in that closet for?
Couple of weeks maybe. Okay. I think we truly had started activating the alarm on the door every night after we had found that he would sneak out and get back up on.
Yeah.
Which was the loft bed. Where, like I said, that thing was dangerous at that point because he had been screwing around with the bolts and screws, and at any point it could have given way and he could have gotten seriously injured.
Right, yeah. So he moves into there. There's the tarp in there. Is that just to prevent? What is that for?
That was after I think we had gone to like 3 plastic covers that he had shredded.
Yeah.
Before we decided to put down the tarp. And honestly, I had expected him to complain, but he didn't, and I don't know.
So there's this restriction on food. He talked about bread. For how long was he just eating just bread?
A week or 2.
What was he kind of eating before that?
We do ramen, sandwiches, and I think at some points we actually give him like a meal.
Why was it that he couldn't have meals?
The whole sneaking, I don't know.
Because he was sneaking food?
A lot, yeah, we, over and over and over.
Who's
There would
that?
literally be times where I would be sitting on the couch playing,
Yeah.
and then I'd look up and he's there grabbing something.
Yeah. And so, whose idea was it for him to just eat bread? Is that your idea?
No,
Whose idea was that?
my mother's.
Tell me about the hot sauce. I know that was used as both a punishment and it was put on the bread. Was it always on the bread?
Not always, no. But the thing is, it still hardly did anything for him.
Yeah.
There would be times where it would do something for me because I'd accidentally rub my eye after I put it on there. It was, ow.
Yeah. So you're putting, what dictates whether or not there's hot sauce on the bread that he's eating? What decides that?
I don't know. Whenever my mother told me to put hot sauce on it, I did. It was normally a thin layer to make sure that it wouldn't be too much. Because from what I know, the ghosts or the California Reaper is, what, 2,000 Scoville? Or 2 million Scoville?
What does that mean?
It's the hot sauce, or the heat index, basically.
Okay. And that's pretty high?
Very.
So how long have you guys been using the hot sauce for?
Almost a month, maybe.
Okay. And was that only on bread, or was that on other stuff too?
I think one time we put it in some rice.
Okay.
But after that, I don't think we did that again.
What was it used for, right? Because you're giving them bread as a meal. What's the purpose of the hot sauce?
I know it was punishment, but honestly, I don't think it was that useful because, like I said, he had no feeling in his tongue. He totally bit a hole in it at one point and didn't even feel it.
Was he eating this bread with hot sauce, or was he?
Yeah, he was.
Is that really the only things he had to eat those days, or would he get other things to eat?
From the bread and rice, other than that, not that I know of.
Okay. So for how long do you think he just ate rice and bread and hot sauce?
Maybe 4 months, maybe. Or 1 month, sorry. Jeez.
Oh,
I was thinking 4 weeks and my brain scrambled that.
We totally understand. I understand what you're saying. So maybe about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you see a decline in him during that 4 weeks of losing even more weight or being even less responsive, or what changed when you moved into doing that?
I think it was that there would be times where it would take him a moment to respond. At first I thought it was just him acting, but then I was getting concerned, I think a week or so maybe ago.
Okay. That his responses are delayed, is that?
Yeah, and
as a matter of fact, I think you mentioned that to your mom multiple times, right? That he doesn't seem to be responding, that he can't walk very well, that he's stumbling. I think you mentioned those things too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was her response to those things?
I think she was thinking, because there was one point where he did that, but it was before he was thin.
Yeah.
And it scared the crap out of me, but then he admitted to my mother later that day while I was at work that it was an act.
Okay.
So I guess we made the mistake, she made the mistake of believing that that was what it was. I know that he's done stuff like that back in Oklahoma too. He would do something that would scare the crap out of us to make us believe that something was wrong. And several times here, he faked seizures. I've seen it and I've also seen what happens because back in Oklahoma, he had seizures from medication problems.
Okay.
But yeah, I know that I can tell the difference. And at one point, Gabriel had just barely walked back into Mom and Adam's room when he tried it again. Had Gabriel been there, he would have been even more terrified than he already was, because like we said, he was there for the stroke and the seizures, so.
Yeah. The hot sauce. Whose idea was it to get hot sauce as punishment? Is that your idea?
I honestly don't remember that part. I don't remember whose it was. I know that before we were using the California, we were using ghost pepper sauce.
Where do these sauces come from?
I think it was either Amazon or Walmart apps.
Okay. Did you ever go to the store and buy any of them?
No, we didn't ever.
Did you ever order any of those yourself? Or who was ordering the hot sauce?
My mother is, but she would ask if I could help her pay for it, which...
Okay.
Like I said, she's been amazing. She's never demanded money.
Yeah.
So,
I saw a message that where she asked you.
So I knew that she wasn't just going, if I said it not that moment, she would have understood, unlike my father.
Yeah. So the hot sauce on bread if you ever put hot sauce on somebody, was it ever your own decision to put hot sauce on somebody?
No.
Sometimes you were left in charge of the 2 kids, right?
Yes.
How often was that you were in charge?
Sometimes it was during the mornings where she would go to work, but around 3-ish, I would have to go to work myself. She would be home after around 6 o'clock from work, and at that point, she would ask me to have them both go to Gabriel and Timothy to go to their rooms, which, for him at that point was the closet, and Gabriel's was downstairs as well. Gabriel would take his tablet because if there's one thing we both know, it's that he's also very dependent on that. It's something that keeps him calm and collected.
So when mom's not there, is she monitoring with the cameras? Is that what the cameras in the home are for?
Yes.
And how does she communicate with you?
Text. Via text.
From her phone to your phone? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And how does she communicate with the other kids?
Through the alarms, because they do have that dual way talking. But
So she can talk to them through
Yeah,
the camera system
yes.
or the alarms?
yeah, it's cameras, not alarms. Jeez,
Okay.
The alarms don't have. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. You don't have to be sorry at all.
I can't.
So she's able to communicate with them that way. She's communicating with you via text.
Yes, Timothy doesn't have anything to text with. He does, but I don't think, because we couldn't trust him on devices, so we couldn't exactly.
So you have her kind of monitoring everything.
I do sometimes at some points, yes. I will log into the cameras and make sure that I don't have Gabriel's app, because normally before I leave, he's upstairs in her room. He's been like that for a while. Timothy's or Gabriel's?
Gabriel's.
I don't know about that one, honestly.
Do you know what app was Timothy's?
The one for his room, I think Mama had that one. I know the one in the bathroom was Blue something, BLU, and then something else.
Okay.
And then the one in the downstairs area was Tekken.
Okay. So wait, was Timothy had his own too in his room?
Yes, but that was before we moved him into the closet. That the Tekken was for when he was there, and it was also when he would get up and have to go to the bathroom before this whole.
Which ones do you know how to log into?
I don't think I remember the one for the Tekken, but I think the other one was my sister Millie's name, and then it was 2 numbers, I think. I don't remember.
Okay. When do you think was the last time you got logged into that camera?
The Tekken, it was.
I mean the Blue.
The Blue, I think it was maybe a couple of days ago. I don't.
So just to be like.
Normally I would, when I would get ready to head to work, I would log out of it because I could not stand. With my Apple Watch, it was connected to my phone, so whenever that got a notification of like Gabriel going to the bathroom, my watch would vibrate during work. It would be annoying.
Yeah, that's certainly. Okay.
So I wouldn't know what was normally going on during the nights.
Right. So I know that when we talked yesterday in front of your mom, she was lying about some stuff, right? I know that she's a good person. I'm not doubting that at all.
Yeah, we never wanted any of this.
But you also know, just like I know, that some of the things that she was talking was about weren't the truth, right? About, she said she didn't know there was a camera in the bathroom. But the fact of the matter, she asked you to put the camera in the bathroom, right? Didn't she send you a text message that says, make sure that the camera's in there and take the shower curtain down so I can see him? Didn't she ask you that the day before he passed away?
Yeah.
So we talked about some of that stuff. Remember how during the conversation I said, I know what this pepper's for, it's for punishment. And what did she say? She said, I didn't know anything about that. Right? Why do you think she's saying those things? Why do you think
She doesn't want to appear like a bad person. She doesn't want to be the bad guy in this. We never wanted any of this. We we want him to be healthy. I know that for a fact. We should have been so much. I should have at least put my foot down on something.
Right. But
it's not that I'm afraid of her. I can't fear her because she's not the type to instill fear.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's also what caused him to sometimes lie about things as well. Was that he still had this fear of Dad, and then he thought she would be the same.
Yeah. That could very well be the case.
She's nothing like him. That much I know. She's like.
But she knows that you shouldn't be using hot sauce as a punishment, right? She knows better than that. And you know better than that too, right? Yeah. I think that anybody with some common sense knows that hot sauce is not something used to punish a child for eating food that they're not supposed to eat, or for disrespect, or for not following orders. We know those things aren't okay.
I know that. We've tried so many different things. We just were running out of options of trying to find a punishment that would actually work. And even that did nothing.
Right.
And we still kept trying though. I don't know why.
So you have the hot sauce. Tell me about the handcuffs. I know that, once again, she took no blame for that, right? And who did she put it all on? She put it all on you. She said that was your idea, and that those were yours, and that you did those things. But I think that's not the truth from what I read on here. What's the real truth on that?
We would have him against the wall at some points, and he would try to move. And at one point, we'd actually put motion sensors on him to stop that. But
On him himself?
Yeah, like they were vibrator. They would sense any sort of vibrations.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he'd learned to trick them by moving so slow, or they'd be on his door and they'd be moving so slow that it wouldn't set off. So you'd get away with stuff.
Okay.
So
you're saying standing still, was that like a punishment that he was forced to stand
on the
still?
wall, yeah, against the wall, he was having.
Was that regular that he had to do that? Like how often was he having to stand against the wall?
Since 2 weeks ago, it wasn't very often.
Okay. Just because he couldn't physically stand against the wall anymore?
No, it was. I guess that it just didn't work because if he wouldn't set it off when he was against the wall, he would then it'd be on a belt around him. He'd stuff it in his pocket and then just sit down on the ground or lay down and stay like that.
So he was punished by trying to make him stand, but then he would lay down. Did you guys ever wake him up on purpose because he wasn't supposed to be sleeping?
Yeah, and we also know one thing about him was that if he slept during the day, he was going to be up all night.
Okay. So you wouldn't let him sleep during the day, essentially?
If he wanted maybe an hour long or 2 hour nap, we would, but anything longer, we knew that it would start screwing with his actual sleeping.
So who's monitoring this all the time? Like, who's making sure he's not sleeping during the day? Who's making sure he stands against the wall?
When my mother was at work, she'd have me log in before she'd leave. I'd come upstairs and go back to sleep on the couch. I'd set an alarm normally for 10:30 to 11:30 so that I could wake up and be up to keep things going around the house, keep everything in order.
Okay.
So she never did any of this to be harsh.
Listen, I'm in no way questioning whether your mom cared or any of those things. I'm not. But the reality is we just have to talk about how we got to this point and how these decisions were made. So I don't want you to think that.
We also did stop the leg cuffs,
Yeah.
I think, a while ago because we noticed that his ankles were swelling. So we stopped that because we didn't want his legs to become irreparable.
How often were you guys putting leg cuffs on him before that? Was that something like at night to stop him from moving around, or what was it for?
I think we did it once or so. Once, maybe twice at night. One time. I don't know. I'm so lost. I just don't know what to do.
What about handcuffs or zip ties? What did you guys use those for?
Zip ties were either to fasten the vibrational arms to his belt during the day,
Yeah.
to put it on his wrist, not too tight and I would make sure, after the first time we did it, I would make sure to cut off the end of the zip ties because I had them loose. And then he decided to tighten them to where they were nearly cutting off circulation.
Yeah.
So after that point, I myself, when I was told to put him in the zip ties, I'd grab a pair of scissors and snip off the ends to make sure that he couldn't tighten it to where it was cutting anything off.
Were you guys ever zip tying his hands together?
His hands, I think we did once when we had a pair of them that the zip cuffs.
Okay.
But again, I'd cut those off to make sure that he wouldn't tighten them. Yeah, because
What was that for? Why would you use those on him?
normally we have him do this. It was something that I'm not sure if it was my father or my mother back when they were together, but when we were put in timeout, we'd be told to do this. And so sometimes though he'd try and do stuff like this, or just try and put his hands down or down by his side. So we do that to keep them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long do you think that goes on for?
I think the zip ties, cuffs, probably when we first used them, it was when I would leave, when I would get ready to leave for work, I'd put them on, do the whole snipping, and then when Mama would get home, she'd grab the scissors and cut them off immediately.
Yeah. How long are we talking? Is this for a couple hours, 8 hours, 10 hours?
Normally the maximum was 3.
Okay.
Because when I worked normally at that point, I think I was only working evening and closing shifts.
Yeah.
It would be 4:30 or 4 o'clock that I'd need to be there. So in order to get there, I would have to leave an hour before to actually make it on time.
Right.
But and we'd put the vibration alarms on there, but then again we stopped that after the zip ties, because with the chains or the chain parts of the cuffs, I think they would rattle to where if you tried to move, it would still set them off, even with the whole slowness.
Yeah. Tell me about the night before. I know that you said you got home at 2.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kind of what really happened that night, because I know that
I did take my meds. He was in his room. I didn't think to check. I should have, though. I should have made sure he was at least okay, that he was breathing. He could have been gone by the time I had already gotten home.
Right. So when you first talked to us and you talked to the police, you said he was on his bunk bed, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the truth.
No.
Okay. He was in that closet that's right there by the bunk bed?
Yeah.
Okay. And then your mom had texted you that earlier in the night, or how did you know that he was in there?
I guess at that point it was just something I would already know, because I have a slight problem. It's not like a problem, just a small sort of OCD with the light switches.
Okay.
So I'd go upstairs and I'd take my meds, and normally the light switches by the back door, I want them down, and then when I come over to the stairs, normally when I flip it down, the light in the dining room would turn on. So I'd go to the stairs and flip it to turn the light on for the stairs, and the ones in the dining room off. Go downstairs and then flip that switch to get the stairs off, and then the one in there would turn on, and that was how I would know he wasn't in the bed.
Oh.
And then go and turn the ones off at the start of the hall, and then turn off the light with the switch by my bedroom.
So you know he's not in the bed?
Yes.
So you told us that you heard him snoring. Was that a lie?
Yeah.
And did you come up with that on your own, or did somebody ask you to say that he was in the bed? It's okay.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I feel so guilty, like I could have done something at any point in this.
But you're not. You're his brother. And you have a mother that's telling you what to do. And so I understand why you feel the way that you do, but at the same time you have to look at You think that your mother's telling you to do what's best for him, right? That's what you've been telling me since you
Yeah.
came in here.
And I know she wants what's best for all of us.
So, I'm back to my question. Did somebody ask you to say that he was in the bunk bed?
I came up with that on my own because I didn't want. I feel so guilty.
You came up with that on your own?
Yeah, because
So tell me what really happened in the morning then, because obviously what was told to us wasn't the truth. What really happened when you guys, somebody found him, or
I woke up and I had been grabbing my shoes, and it was at that point that it basically all played out like we said. The whole morning thing was exact. He wasn't breathing in the closet. It was the closet though. We had to get him out of the closet to try and resuscitate.
So it's you and your mother that tried to get him out of the closet.
We did get him out.
Okay.
And we tried to resuscitate.
Who noticed him first? You or
My mother.
Okay. Did she had asked you via text to check on him on the way up? That's not what happened. She said, "Hey, can you check on him on your way upstairs?" Do you remember that text message at all?
No.
Okay.
There might have been one that I didn't see, but
Okay. So you guys pull him out of the closet.
we tried to resuscitate him. We gave him rescue breaths. His breath smelled horrible. I thought maybe he might have still been capable of being resuscitated, but his mouth was still wet.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it had just been recent, so we could do something. But
When you were at work, right? You came home at about 2. Does that sound right, or is that?
yeah, that was true because what was it? It was the day after the 4th of July or so. What's today's date?
Yeah, today's the 7th. This
The
was on the
7th. Yeah, it was on the 5th. So
Well, it's the 5th when you were at work, and then you
Yes.
come home in the morning of.
yes, and yeah, some of the servers there were still people in the lobby, and we had to finish that off. I'm the general utility, so I have to break down the machine, clean the outside, clean the floors.
Gotcha. So when you guys pull him out of the closet, like, does he have clothes on at that point, or is he in a diaper, or what's that state?
He had a shirt. I think we had put him in pants or sweatpants, but I don't know. Maybe some point in the night he took them off. I don't know about
When you
that.
say we, you weren't there though when you went to bed, right?
No,
So how would you know if we put him in sweatpants? Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So do you know if he had pants on or not when he went to
No,
bed?
honestly, but he didn't have them when we got him out. He had the diaper on at least.
So he has the diaper on. You're saying that he has a shirt on? What shirt did he have on?
The very same sweatshirt that we found him in, because obviously we didn't want him to get cold. Or I don't think Mama wanted him to get cold. I'm pretty sure she texted me about that. I'm not sure.
Okay. So you guys pull him out. Does he have pants on or no pants on?
None, no.
And when we get there, he has pants on.
Yeah, she had me put them on.
She asked you to put pants on. What
Yeah.
was that for?
I don't know. I just...
And so you guys, at that time, she decides that she's gonna lie to him and say that he was in the bunk bed. I don't understand.
I don't know.
Clearly,
She doesn't want to seem like she's bad. That we weren't neglecting him. And even if that's if it somehow ended up like that, it was never intentional.
Right. Well, what you're saying, I mean, if we talk, right, there's all these things where you're like, she didn't want to seem like this. She didn't want to seem like this. She didn't want to seem like this. Did you know that it all seems like that, right?
Yes, I know.
It does. And he clearly was neglected because he died from it, right? The reality is that he was. That's why we're here talking today. So he was very much neglected. And the fact that, she had asked you to put hot sauce on his private parts. Do you remember that?
She asked, but I never did. I never
You
did.
never did that?
No.
Okay. And she had asked you to put hot sauce directly into his mouth. Did you do that?
Yes.
Is that on the 5th, the day kind of leading up to all this stuff?
Yeah.
How much hot sauce did you put in there?
That.
And whose idea was that to put that hot sauce in there?
Hers.
And what was the purpose of that?
Again, she thought the whole unresponsive was an act.
She thought it was an act. Which clearly, very clearly, it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
Where is the hot sauce that he used? Is that the one that was in the bathroom, or is there a different one?
That was the one in the bathroom, yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about lying during this? How does that make you feel?
I just hate it. I know she doesn't want to be the bad guy. She never wanted this. We loved him so much. And it just...
I don't think it's about love at this point. I think it's about not knowing what to do, not knowing how to handle the situation.
We didn't know how to do anything. We didn't.
I don't think you knew.
I've never... The worst punishment I've ever gotten in Oklahoma, it was my father. He spanked me with a belt so hard that my butt was bruised.
Yeah.
And at another point, they had me do wall sits. He had me do wall sits while holding 2 cans of chicken noodle soup out like this. And that was when I was in high school. I could hardly get to school the next couple of days because I had to walk. And my limbs were so stiff and filled with lactic acid that it was just painful to try and even get across the street.
Yeah.
And again, bruises on my backside too, where it was really hard to sit at school.
What other kinds of things? Did you guys ever put hot sauce anywhere else? Did you ever put hot sauce like in his eyes or anything like that?
Not that I know of. I think at one point he may have, after he'd eaten, he had forgotten to wash his hands and rubbed his eye.
Okay.
I know at one point I unintentionally done this.
Did you ever directly put hot sauce into his eye?
No, I remember, but when that happened, I helped him wash out his eyes to make sure that it wouldn't sting so much. Or it wouldn't sting at all. I'm not sure if it helped or not. But he said it was good after. I think that was a couple of weeks back.
Okay. What else can you tell me about what happened there at the house? What other types of punishments did you guys have for him?
I know at one point that he was actually refusing to eat. We would give him his food and he would just be stubborn and sit there and just slowly, it was regular bread, nothing else on it. Just chow down to the point where it was basically he was trying to waste time. He could be upstairs.
Where did he spend most of his time?
In his room. We wouldn't make him stand. Sometimes we would have him kneeling, like on his knees, like this, facing one of the corners, but...
What was that for? For punishment?
Yeah, I don't even know what it was for at this point. I'm not sure.
But where did he spend most of his time?
It was in that room.
I think the closet there?
Yeah, I think less than 3 or so weeks ago we've been having him try and do schoolwork, but the thing is that he's just, at this point I'm slightly curious on how he was even in sophomore year. He was supposed to be a junior next year, but we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do that because he was flunking everything. And my mother graded fairly. She used the actual answers that were on the website or in textbook of some sort.
Yeah.
But back in Oklahoma, he was also even destructive at school, destroying textbooks, desks, really anything.
So
he was a destructive child.
And like this all happened, right? Where do you and your mom agree to tell the same story that he was in the bunk bed, or how does that happen? You couldn't have both just possibly made up the same story.
No.
So what happened? She told you, right? She told you what to say? It's okay. She told you what to say. Because why? Did she tell you why? Does it look bad for you guys?
It's not just that. We loved him. Can
I ask you this, like straight up? You keep saying love, love. Do you feel like this was love? That he's dead now because he couldn't eat food. Does that feel like love to you?
No.
He's dead because he couldn't eat.
No.
And I don't know anybody that thinks that's love. What I think's happening is your mom's convinced you that she's this perfect person, and she's asking you to do all these things that are literally killing your brother.
I know she's not perfect.
How is that love? How is love? How is love ice baths? How is love handcuffing? And how is love restricting movement? And how is love hot sauce in the mouth and only eating bread? What if you only got to eat bread? How would you feel? What if you only got to eat bread with hot sauce? Would you eat?
No.
You're pretty skinny already. It wouldn't take you long.
This is my natural weight. I have an overactive metabolism.
But it wouldn't take you long to be very much skin and bones if all you got to eat was bread and hot sauce, because how could you eat it? And how could you feel good about eating it? Was he throwing up stuff that he was eating?
Forcefully, he would force himself to get it back up.
When? Like recently, in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, he would force himself, honestly.
You ever think it's because maybe it was painful? It's hot sauce. It's not like that just goes away. Did you ever complain about pain, stomach pain, pain from using the bathroom?
Not that I know of, no. I do know that my mother, she's not perfect, but she's not a bad person.
Do you know, can I ask you this? Do you know of any good people who starved a child to death? Tell me of one that you know. Tell me of one that you know. That's a child who has a lot of problems, right? That's not a child that's taking care of themselves. They can't take care of themselves because you guys are restricting where he can go and what he can do. And if he does something wrong, you're punishing him by giving him ice baths and hot sauce and only feeding him bread. How is that? How is that a loving person? How is that a loving mother? You know what that sounds like to me? And honestly, the worst mother I've ever met in my entire life. That's what it sounds like to me.
I know. But she's not.
Maybe she wasn't to you. Maybe she was a good mother to you. And maybe she wasn't to Gabriel. It sounds like she's a very good mother to Gabriel. But to one of the three children, she didn't care. You can say it if you want. She starved him to death because he wouldn't stop taking food. Well, maybe he's taking food because he wants to live. Have you ever thought about that?
Yes.
Maybe he's stealing food so that he can survive. He's dead because he didn't get food.
How knows that?
Well, that's not anybody's fault but your mother's. And you can try to take some of the blame if you want, but it's her fault, because every single time I see a message in here, it's her telling you what to do. And she put you right in the middle of this. She put you right in the middle of this where it looks like some of the stuff's your idea. And it actually looks like in some of these things that you kind of enjoy it. That you kind of enjoy punishing him for doing wrong things. Do you feel like you kind of enjoy punishing him for that stuff?
No.
Maybe not that he was in pain, but that you were in charge and you got to tell him, you can't do that, go do this, this is your punishment. Did you like some of that stuff?
No.
Did she like some of that stuff?
No.
How come you guys are laughing and joking about it sometimes with smiley faces and like...
If it's the upside down smiley face,
Yeah, what's that mean?
it's the opposite of happiness.
Okay.
It means that I'm really angry,
Okay.
and she's kept me calm, like I said.
Because he made you mad a lot, right? It sounds like he made you mad a lot. But when you look back on it, do you think he really could control it? Clearly he needed help. He didn't need punishment. He needed some help. He couldn't make those decisions or do those things on his own. You saw it over and over and over and over again, right? What was your mother's choice? Her choice was more punishment, less food. More punishment. The only food you get is bread. And the only bread you get, sometimes, is with the hottest hot sauce that we can find. That's all you get to eat. There's no way that you can look at yourself and think, that's okay. And that your mom's good for that. She was doing what's best for him. how could that be best for him? Why couldn't it be a piece of chicken that's cooked? Why couldn't he eat that? Why does it have to be bread with hot sauce? It's not about punishment. You need food to survive. You need food to live. He didn't get to live because of that. Because of what you guys did. And I'm sitting here talking to you because I think that way more of it has to do with your mom than you. I don't think that you're this bad person that was out here doing these things. But you're also still not telling me the whole truth about what happened that night. About the night that he ended up dead. That there's more to that story.
I've told you everything that I have. I don't want to live a life where I regret the fact that I hid somehow, something, and I've told you everything I know.
How do you feel about living a life where you hid that your brother wasn't eating from society, that you hid that your brother was dying? How do you feel about that?
I hate myself, okay? If I could take his place right now, if I could give him back his life, I'd do it in a dadgum heartbeat.
Did your mom ever do anything like this to you?
No. Not even back when she and my father were together. The punishments were him.
When did this stuff kind of start? Sounds like to me it started after your stepdad was out of the house.
Because Timothy would take advantage of that situation. We were all stressed. And he would take advantage of that. Anything he can find to take advantage of. Almost his entire life. Except for, I think when he was still a baby. He would find some way to take advantage of whatever he can.
Was there ever food restrictions when, is it Eric?
Dad?
Yeah. Not Eric. Adam? Adam's stepdad to you, correct?
Yes.
Was there ever food restriction with bread only when he was in the house?
No, because...
Was the house messy like it is now? Disgusting.
It wasn't as messy. With all the stress that's been going on, we've had moments where, yeah, we could get it cleaned up, but...
Does your mom feel bad at all about giving him just bread and
yes.
hot sauce and locking him in the closet and
yes,
handcuffing
she hates it.
And
she hates it. She never once enjoyed it.
Ice baths. She gave him ice bath on the day that he died, right? Leading up to it. And she wanted him to sleep in the tub. That's what I read. Did that happen? Did he sleep in the tub?
No.
He didn't.
No.
He didn't die in that bathtub and you guys dragged him into that closet and waited for the morning to call the police? That's not what happened.
No. It's not.
Do you think she did that? Do you think that message is just a little bit suspicious? That she sends you at just about midnight that says, he's in the closet, I had to drag him in there. You don't think he was already dying or dead at that point?
I was working. I didn't read that message until basically I'd gotten home.
But do you think she sent that for a reason? Why would she send that?
I don't know.
Doesn't it seem like maybe he was already dead? That she put him in there so that he could wake up and have died in his sleep? Because she can't call the police when he's in an ice bath and he freezes and he dies. Not freezes per se, but he dies in the bath. And she dragged him in there. Did she talk to you all about that? Did she tell you the truth about what really happened?
I don't know at this point.
She did, right? I don't want you to lie to me anymore.
No, I don't know if he died in there. I don't know where. I remember. I know that when I got up, he was gone.
And when was the last time you saw him alive?
The 5th.
What time? Ballpark?
I think because of my bike, Mama had to come pick me up and drop me off at work. So I was very late getting there, but I had let them know beforehand. I know he was alive before I left.
You know he was alive when you left for work?
Yeah.
And you don't really know exactly what time it was, but...
I think she managed to get there a little bit after 6. I managed to get to work around 6:35-ish.
So she says to you at 11:49 p.m. on 7/5, says, please set your alarm for 6 a.m. I ended up dragging him back to a small room, that's talking about the closet,
Yeah.
because I wasn't going to risk him having access to the tub or other things overnight. Wasn't he already in the tub? So what do you mean risk him having access to the tub overnight? He's still trying to be water. She says he's still trying to be stupid, but I will tell you more tomorrow while I take you to work, describing how many different ways I've proved that he's still faking. He's still doing it.
The thing was that
It's beyond
yesterday
ridiculous.
I had offered him a pizza roll because I wanted to truly test whether he was faking or not. And at first he didn't move. I'm like, okay, maybe this is. But then he moved and went to try and grab it. I'm like, okay, I don't even know. I don't know anymore.
Well, he wasn't faking it, right? Because he died. He wasn't faking it unless your mom did something to him to kill him. Do you think she did that?
No, of course not.
Outside of not feeding him food and punishing him for months, that's what killed him, right? Or did she hold a pillow over his mouth and suffocate him?
No, of course not. She's not. She wouldn't.
Did she
do
hold him
that.
by the throat and squeeze it until he died?
No.
So what killed him was not having food, not having access to food and malnutrition for months? How long did this go on for?
I don't know.
You feel good at all about any of this stuff?
No, of course not.
You can't, right?
I can't even live with myself.
But how do you feel about over and over and over again defending your mother about how good she is? Do you feel like that's the truth anymore? Because I'm quite disgusted by her. I'm disgusted by her.
She never wanted this.
Then how smart is your mom?
She's incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
Magna cum laude.
Right. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought, how can a woman that's this smart, this intelligent, graduate from law school, how could she not know what's happening? How could she think this is fake? How does she not know she's starving? How does she not see that he's wasting away? And you here, you're telling me that you've got some mental health issues, but you graduated from high school, and it's very obvious to you that he's got malnutrition, right? It's very obvious to you. But your mom here's not seeing that, and she's a law school graduate, and she's very smart. Do you see what I'm looking at here?
Yeah.
She's a liar. She's lied to you about so much stuff. At some point, you need to stand up for yourself and realize she's the manipulator, she's the liar, she put you in this spot, she did this to your brother, using you. Do you not see that? That she used you to do this to your brother. Your mother used you. She's so smart. She's smarter than any of us here. She's smarter than me. She's smarter than any detective here. She's smarter than our chief of police here. She's smarter than all of us. And we're supposed to believe she didn't know what was happening? No. She didn't want him around anymore because he was too much of a problem. You know that's the truth. You can look back at it and see that, can't you? She didn't want him around anymore because he was too much work. That's the truth. And the second you start to believe that and understand that, then I think that's the time you can move forward in this case. Until you believe that, until you understand that, you're never moving forward from this. This isn't an accident. This didn't just happen. Your mom knew exactly what was happening to him, that he was wasting away. You saw it, didn't you? You saw it happening right in front of you.
It was never intentional.
For you or for her? Is she smart or is she not smart?
She's highly intelligent.
Then how is this not intentional? She thought, what did she think was going to happen then? He was just going to be good? And all of a sudden he was going to start behaving and doing everything she said because she didn't feed him food?
I don't know.
What did she think was going to happen?
I don't know.
Exactly what happened is what she thought was going to happen. At some point he wasn't going to wake up.
She never wanted him dead. She loved him.
That's love to you? Everything that we talked about is love? How? Who do you love in your life?
My family?
Have you ever thought about starving them?
No, of course.
Have you ever thought about not giving them food as a punishment?
No, of course.
Have you ever thought about giving them hot sauce so that they would listen?
No.
Or that they would do what was told? You somehow don't think those things are okay. Do you think those things are okay?
No.
Because everybody knows they're not. Except the smartest woman in the room. She's the one person that doesn't know that's not okay? You're joking, right? No. The smartest woman in the room is the one that doesn't know you can't do those things. No, it's all very intentional. The smartest woman in the room knows. She graduated second in her class from law school. She graduated with honors from college and from law school. But she doesn't know that not giving your kid food is going to make him sick and die?
We gave him food. She even told me to make sure that he had a good amount of. She would tell me on random days. They were never consecutive, I don't believe, for the hot sauce punishment. But other than that, it was always bread and rice. At one point, she even asked me to put some broth. I think that she wanted chicken, but we didn't have any, so I used beef for some rice. She cared. She never wanted this. We didn't.
But you sent her pictures of him looking dead, right? Looking almost dead.
Yeah.
That's your brother.
Yeah.
That's June 13th, less than a month ago. You sent this picture to her and you said, he's looking like a skeleton, we need to give him more food. But you guys didn't give him more food over the next couple weeks. You guys gave him less and more punishment and less bread and more bread with hot sauce. That's what really happened. You reached out to her and said, this is scary looking, right? You probably thought, he can barely walk. You sent a picture of his legs, right? You sent this picture of his legs to your mother. Right here. You sent this to her. And what'd you say? Something along the lines of, no wonder he can barely stand up or walk. Look at that. And your mother, being smart and intelligent and the smartest woman in the room, she didn't do anything about that? Didn't think about taking him to the doctor? Didn't think about, we have to give him some more food, like seriously now? Instead, what do you think she did? She gave him less and more punishment. Until what? He ends up dead. And what did she tell the police? He was always wearing baggy clothes, so I didn't notice anything until last night. Another just blatant lie. Another blatant lie. If this was all an accident, why would she lie to us? If this was all an accident, why wouldn't she just say, we were having a really hard time with him, I thought he was okay. No, she knows that he looked like this. That he looked like this. Look at his face right there. That's not who your brother looked like, is it?
No.
He didn't look like that. Does that look like it? That looks like somebody in a casket that you see at a funeral. That's what that looks like. And it's sickening and disgusting. And you sent this picture to her too, didn't you? You sent that to her, didn't you?
Yeah.
You sent that to her on July 5th. Right before the day leading up to him being found dead. Does he look like he's okay right there?
No.
Why'd you send that picture?
I was concerned.
Yeah, once again, you're not the smartest person in the room and you're concerned. Did she do anything about it? No, you know what she said? He's going to sleep in the bath all night tonight. He's sleeping in the bath all night tonight. The smartest woman in the room. He's getting in the bathtub all night for punishment. And make sure the shower curtain's away so I can see him. And what happens later on that night? At some point between the time this picture is sent and the time you wake up in the morning, he dies. Because he's alive right here, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He's alive. Did she tell you to snap him and see if he blinks? Or is that a different time?
That was...
Is that this time or a different time? You smack him in the face to see if he's faking it?
I was trying to see what was going on, trying to see if he would even respond, what was going on with him.
Because to you,
scared.
Not the smartest person in the room, to you, you already know. This isn't okay. This is a dying person. This is your brother dying. Sorry about that. This is your brother, and he's almost dead.
Another
And
thing,
so she
I kept
dragged him.
setting him up,
Yeah.
and I would come back a little later, and I would notice that he actually had moved himself back down. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or if he was trying to clear up his airway, maybe.
But just move it. Well, what is that supposed to mean? Well, he must be okay because he moved a little bit? That's where we're at?
I wasn't
He's
sure about
so far gone that you're like questioning if he moves a little bit, he must be okay? Come on.
I wasn't sure.
Where did that stuff come from? Where did that come from? Didn't your mother send you messages that said, I saw him move? I saw him. Did she send that to you?
Yes.
Then what does that mean to her? That it's fake? Is this fake to you?
No.
Is your brother lying on the floor dead? Is that fake to you?
No.
You know who it didn't matter to at all? You know who I didn't see shed a single tear the whole day I was there? Your mom. Did you see her cry a real tear?
Yes.
I saw a whole bunch of fake. You know what my job is to see? Fake. You know what I saw a whole bunch of? Fake. Because at the end of the day, your brother gone, that's a problem for her that's gone. She never was trying to solve this problem. She was never trying to make him into this perfect person because she's smart enough to know that isn't going to happen. He's never going to be you. He's never going to be Gabriel because he has too many problems. He's not going to be that. She's smart enough to know that. That's how we ended up here. The smartest woman in the room took advantage of you. And she asked you to do these things over and over and over again. And this is the woman you're sitting here saying she cares so much. Does she really though? She asked you to handcuff your brother, pour hot sauce in his mouth. She asked you to pour hot sauce on his penis. Your mother asked you to do those things because she cares so much. She put you in that spot. And now you're right in the middle of an investigation in which your brother died. And this is criminal. This is a crime. Did your brother deserve to die?
No.
Should he be dead right now?
No.
Is he dead by the choices of others?
Yeah.
Who made those choices? Who made the choices for him to be dead right now? Did you make some of those choices?
No.
Who made those choices?
Mama?
Yeah. She did, didn't she? That's what's real.
I don't know.
Now, did you do some of the things she asked you to do?
Yes.
Absolutely you did.
Because I thought
And does that put you
knew what was best.
Does that put you in the wrong? Doing those things?
Does it?
It does. It puts you in the wrong.
Yeah.
It does.
Because
But you thought she knew what was best. You just said, I heard you say it.
I knew. I
quietly.
thought she knew it. I thought maybe it would somewhere would change. But
Because she's smart, right? And she knows what she's talking about. And she loves you, all of you. And she cares all about all of you. But when you really step back and you look at yourself and Gabriel and Timothy, were all three of you treated the same?
no.
Was one of you treated like, who really cares? Who really cares? Punish him, punish him, punish him, punish him. Ice bath, hot sauce, handcuffs, closet. He lived in a closet. You said he spent most of his day in a closet, peeing on himself, pooping on himself, eating only bread, sometimes only with hot sauce on it. It's the hottest hot sauce you can get your hands on. That's life. He's probably relieved that he's dead. He's probably relieved because that's torture. He was tortured by you guys for months. Tortured. Why? Because he was different than you guys? Because he couldn't follow directions? Because he couldn't follow your mom's rules? Is that why? He stole food? Is it that big of a deal? Is this food worth killing somebody over?
No.
That's what happened here. Over stealing food and not following rules. You said that your dad's very controlling. You know who was also very controlling? Your mom's controlling you without you even knowing it. That's narcissistic. Your mom controlled you and you had no idea. You thought all this stuff you were doing was for your brother. This is going to be better for my brother. This is what's best for my brother. Those are the things you came in here saying. Is that real?
I don't know what is or isn't anymore.
It doesn't seem real to me. It doesn't seem real to me at all. Did you ever hate your brother?
I did.
Yeah.
But every time I would come back, I would apologize. The bruises on him were not me. I know that much. If it was anywhere, it was here. And never, there was a spot here, but that was from when he was a child. I think, I'm not sure which parent it was in his crib. He was laid there while his head was still fresh.
Okay.
And so that scar on the back of his head is
That's an old scar.
very, basically birth.
When was the last time you hit him?
Probably the fifth when I was trying to see if he would respond.
Okay. And where was that at?
That was while he was, I think, in the tub.
But where did you hit him at? Like on the side of his face?
Yeah.
Did you ever like to smack him, or what kind of hits?
It was sometimes this, and I think once or twice it was, it wasn't like full force, but it was like to try to see if he would respond.
Did you ever punch him in the head?
No.
Because there's some evidence that somebody hit him in the head pretty hard.
Where? Is his skull? Because I know that would never, I would never try to actually injure him at those points.
What really happened? How did he get that injury in his head? Did you hit him once a little harder than you maybe wanted to? It's okay, man.
Yeah, I remember I kept trying to pick him up after I'd gotten him out of the closet, and I think at one point he actually scratched where I pulled away, and he fell, and I think it happened several times, like he was trying to get out of my reach.
Yeah. When was kind of the last time you like really hit his head hard or something?
I think it was, I was trying to get him into the bath for the ice bath thing, and yeah, he sort of, I thought he squirmed, but maybe it was like something else. I don't know, but he slipped out of my hand and hit his head on the ground. But
what part of his head did he hit?
Was it the sides? I don't know the exact region, because by the time I heard the thud, I was literally about to turn around because I had to stop for a moment to fucking breathe. I was frustrated. I was
Listen, let me just
I never wanted
let me stop
this.
first, okay? But the injury to his head, that's not what killed him, okay?
Okay.
But what killed him was not eating.
He starved.
But when we talk about this injury to his head, I just need to know the truth of what really happened, because what you're telling us doesn't make a lot of sense. What really happened to his head? The medical people, there's a medical examiner in Kalamazoo, that isn't what caused it, but that was there. They just noted that, so I'm just curious what really happened.
I don't know.
Was there like a hard punch or something when you're mad at him?
If I ever was smacking over the head, it was with an open palm. I never closed my fist.
Maybe like on this one day when you wouldn't?
No.
There's never one time where you hit him in the head
No.
with a fist.
I would long to, but I would walk away, because I knew that if I did something like that, I would not only regret it, but if I knew that if something like this had happened, and I had never even been able to apologize.
Right. So where did he hit his head at? You have to remember. You said it was just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Where did he hit his head at?
I think each time, I'm not sure. I know at one point, I think once it was on the side, another time it was the other side. I'm not sure if there was any in the back, but because
where are you hitting his head? Like
normally it was right here for me.
Okay.
Just either side a little.
Was there ever a time where you were so mad that maybe lost it a little bit and hit him harder than that? Because this is a serious injury.
I wouldn't hurt him
Not
like
like
that.
that.
No, not even
I
if
don't
it
think
was.
it was on purpose.
I wouldn't. If it was accidental that it happened, I don't think I would have even realized at this point until someone had probably told me.
Did you ever see your mom hit him?
No. She never raised a hand to him that I know of.
Okay. Did she ever ask you to hit him? Or ever ask you to punish him physically?
No.
By hurting him like with
No.
fists or anything like that?
No.
So what's your best guess on how this injury happened to his head? This is a severe injury, so it's not this. It's not a slap, not even a hard slap.
If it wasn't for hitting his head on the floors and
What part of his head hit the floor? That's what I don't understand.
it might have been the back at one point, but the thing is that when he was on the ground, his head would constantly loll to the side. So if it was
After or during? After. How long was it like that where it rolled to the side? After he hit his head or in
and
general?
barely moments after this when he fell.
Okay. Do you think of anything else about this?
I don't know. I just feel like I could have done something. I should have put my foot down at some point. I loved him so much.
What would have happened?
Honest
What would
as a
have happened
child.
with your mom if you put your foot down? What would have happened?
I don't know. Maybe something would have been different. Maybe he would still be alive. I promised him before the whole thing with mom and dad that I would protect him, but I failed so hard. I failed.
Is it going? Or just says it live. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Hey everybody. Just figured I'd send a quick check for y'all, but we're doing good right now. I just dozed off on the couch unintentionally, and I forgot to give a quick check for today. But yeah. Oh, when I can't actually get in contact with you guys, I'll probably post a quick check like this. For those of you who aren't aware, my little brother has passed away, and my mother is currently in the custody of, well, I'm not sure if it's I don't know. It's a lot to deal with, but right now we're doing good. We're fine, but if I can't actually, Facebook you guys, with live, because I don't have my phone and I don't know how to access my stepfather's, I'll post a quick check to let you guys know everything that's going on. If you have any questions or anything, you just comment them down below and I'll see if I can answer them in the next quick check. Just keep supporting and pray that the two of us get through this. But I guess I don't really have much that I can say right now. But in the comments I'll leave you something if you guys want to know what's going on. There you go. Well, I gotta go and get back to bed. I'll probably post another quick check tomorrow. So, toodles.
The medical examiner ruled his death was caused by starvation, dehydration, and hypothermia. Detective Matt Da Silva, one of the lead investigators, later told the court, "This is the most horrifying thing I have ever seen done to a human being. especially a child. I will never forget it. As they searched the home, investigators uncovered what could only be described as a torture chamber. Cameras everywhere, food locked away, handcuffs, zip ties, multiple bottles of Elijah's Extreme Regret hot sauce, and over 30 blood-stained items confirmed to be Timothy's, including clothing, a wooden stick, a sleeping bag, and a pillow.
Lieutenant Joel Hoeksema, JoelHoeksema.
Can the members of the jury see that okay? Would it help if we dim the lights at all, or?
Dimming the lights a little bit.
Dim the lights a little bit? Can we do that, Mr. Weaver?
There, that's
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Technology's actually working for a little bit, so let's done as quickly as we can.
Sir, could you state your occupation for the record, please?
I'm a patrol lieutenant with the City of Norton Shores Police Department.
He was sworn in, right?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
I want to make sure, can you see it at the exhibit on?
Yes,
on
yep,
okay.
it's working, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lieutenant, I want to direct your attention back to July 6th of 2022. Were you working in your capacity at that time as a detective sergeant for the City of Norton Shores Police Department?
I was.
And as detective sergeant, were you essentially the officer or the detective in charge of this investigation?
I was.
Your role as detective sergeant, is that the head of the other detectives assigned to the Norton Shores Police Department?
Correct.
And since that time, you've been promoted actually to the rank of lieutenant, is that correct?
That's correct.
So again, working back to July 6th of 2022, did you become involved in the investigation into the events that had taken place at 4788 Marshall Road in the City of Norton Shores, County of Muskegon, State of Michigan?
I did.
And did you actually go to that location?
I did.
All right, we're going to go through some photographs for the jury. For the record, these have already been stipulated to as People's Exhibits 1 through 32. They're sequential. The physical copies for the jury have the exhibit numbers on them. We'll go through them one by one for the with the officer so the jury can see them on the monitors. So, we're looking here at what is going to be People's Exhibit number 1. I'm going to lose count at some point with the exhibits. I know I will. But People's Exhibit 1, what are we looking at in that photograph, Lieutenant?
That is the home where the incident occurred.
And People's Exhibit 2?
That is looking at the front door of the home into the home.
And in that image, you can see two sets of stairs, one going up, one going down. That's the bi-level nature of this home, is that correct?
That's correct.
And when you arrived on that scene, did you go both to the upper and lower portions of that home?
I first went to the lower portion, then I did go to the upper portion.
Why did you go to it seems obvious, but why did you go to the lower portion first?
That's where the deceased was located.
Okay. But you did have an occasion to observe both the upstairs and downstairs of that home, is that correct?
Correct.
And is that substantially, some of these photographs are taken on 2 different days, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, during the course of this, did you conduct 2 separate searches of that home pursuant to a search warrant?
Yes.
And is that the reason why we have photographs from 2 different days?
That's correct.
But you have had an opportunity to review all those photographs in preparation for trial today, and would you agree that those are a fair and accurate depiction of the home as it appeared to you on both July 6th and was the second search warrant on July 7th?
It was, correct.
And that's the condition in which the home appeared at the time so that you were there on July 6th and July 7th?
Yes.
So People's Exhibit number 3, what are we looking at in that photograph?
That's the lower level of the home, what's been referred to as the common area, just a main room in the lower level where the deceased was located.
All right, and we can see a sheet here. I know you can't necessarily see what I'm pointing at with the laser pointer, but there's a sheet on the floor on the bottom left-hand portion of that photograph. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that where the deceased was located when this photograph was taken?
Yes, he is under that sheet.
And what are we looking at in this photograph?
That is the same room, just a different angle. You can still see the deceased underneath that sheet, just showing the general appearance of the room.
Right. And the sheet right here, that's the sheet covering the deceased, and is this after the home is searched, or is this the condition it was in when you first observed it?
That is the condition it was in when we first arrived.
And looking on the right side of that, there is what appears to be a bunk bed there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think we have another photograph of that, but was it your understanding that was Timothy Ferguson's bed?
That is what we have been told, yes.
And what are we looking at in this image?
That is the upper bunk of that loft bed or bunk bed that we spoke of.
And that's I believe that's another Norton Shores officer that we can see there with a mask on, and beyond that, there's what appears to be another room there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And it's the testimony's been thus far that there are 2 bedrooms. Actually, there's the common area, a bathroom, and 2 bedrooms, and a small closet in the lower level. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you observed both of those bedrooms?
I did.
And was it your understanding that those bedrooms belonged to one to Paul Ferguson and one to the minor child, G?
That's correct.
And so we're looking at the top bunk and looking towards one of those bedrooms. Is that correct?
That is correct. That would be G's bedroom.
All right, and what are we looking at in this next photograph?
That is the upper level of the home, the kitchen.
And again, looking at this photograph, is this taken prior to any search actually taking place?
No, this was the scene of the home as we found it.
So the items all strewn about are not, you see on television, police officers going in and emptying drawers and throwing stuff around. Did any of that occur prior to this photograph being taken?
No, we don't operate that way. We take care of the property that we're searching.
There's going to be a better view of it, but on the extreme right side of that photograph is what appears to be a refrigerator. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you can see, well, we'll get to it. I believe it's in the next photograph anyway. Here, are we looking at another view of that photograph?
It is. Another view of that refrigerator.
And so that's a bottom freezer, so a refrigerator where the refrigerator is on top and the freezer portion is on the bottom. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there appears to be a lock on the bottom portion of that, or 2 locks there actually, but one lock with a front connection point on that freezer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And is this the upper portion, the refrigerator portion?
Yes.
All right, and that also appears to be a lock as well with a keyhole, correct?
Yep. Correct.
And is that just a wider shot of, so you can see both the upper and lower portion of that refrigerator?
That's correct.
There's a door slightly ajar there. Where does that door go to?
That's what's been referred to as the pantry.
And what are we looking at in this photograph?
Another view of the kitchen area. You can see the stairs leading down to the main entrance, as well as a chest freezer.
And there's next to the freezer, it appears to be a coat rack. Is that right?
Yes.
And there's a large white tub there. Do you recall what was located in that tub?
I believe it was dog food.
So those are the stairs the stair rail we can see there. Those are the stairs that come up from the front door.
Yes.
And immediately then to your right, as you come up those stairs, is that door to the pantry, correct?
Correct.
And what are we looking at in that image?
That's the chest freezer that we just had looked at with the lock on it, the black lock.
And what are we looking at in this image?
There's a photograph of the inside of the refrigerator and portions of the freezer.
And by all accounts, it looks like there's quite a healthy amount of food contained in that portion of the refrigerator. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely.
Condiments on the door, milk on the door, other items, pickles, more mayonnaise, lots of items inside that refrigerator.
Very well stocked.
And is that the freezer drawer portion?
That is the freezer.
And you would see pizza rolls, some type of frozen mac and cheese, a couple of boxes of frozen mac and cheese, and some type of packaged meat, as well as other items in that freezer, correct?
Yes, many options.
And what are we looking at in this?
That's the inside of the chest freezer, showing all the food available in there.
So there's some frozen chicken, there's some desserts in there, there's some bread, all
Yes.
visible in that image.
Correct.
Again, this and the refrigerator and the freezer all had locks on them, correct?
Correct.
And what are we looking at in this image?
That's that closet pantry door that was just to the right of the refrigerator near the stairs, and the inside of the pantry area.
And again, there's more food items in there. There's canned soup, cereal, multiple items inside that location. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I think we're back downstairs now. So can you tell the jury what we're looking at in this image?
This is the first search warrant at the home. To the right of the screen, you can see the bunk bed that was designated as the deceased bunk bed, and then the small room door, the closet under the stairs.
And at the very top right portion of that door, can you describe for the jury what we're looking at there?
On the top right of the door is an alarm, which appeared to me to be activated whenever that door would be opened.
We have a close-up of that in the next image. That's the alarm sensor?
Correct. You can see the one sensor part on the door jam and the other sensor part on the door. So when the door is opened, it would trigger.
Now, let's talk for just a moment, because you referenced it just a moment ago. You said that these photographs, specifically, these two exhibits were taken during the execution of the first search warrant at the home. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that was the search warrant that was executed on July 6th, correct?
That is correct.
That's the date that Timothy Ferguson's body was located in the home.
Correct.
And following the conclusion of the execution of the search warrant and all the interviews that were taking place, was Ms. Van der Ark placed in custody at that point in time?
She was not.
Was she free to remain in the home the night of July 6th leading into July 7th?
She was.
And what are we looking at in this next photograph?
That is the inside of the small room.
And you refer to it as a small room. Is that, throughout the course of this investigation, did you come to recognize that as being referred to as the small room by Ms. Van der Ark as well as Paul Ferguson?
That is correct.
And there's a tarp in there and a box in there. Was anything else located in this room?
That was it, just the tarp and that box.
And what was the overall physical condition of that room based on your observations at the time that you were there?
When we opened the door to that room, there was an overpowering odor of urine. Very offensive smell coming from that room. And
is this just another view of that looking down at the tarp that you had referred to?
Correct.
And what are we looking at with this image here?
That is a view from the inside of the door for the small room. The door is open, and that is what would be on the inside of the room.
And it appears that there's a crack in the door. Is that correct?
It does.
This next image is that the other side of that door?
Correct. That would be the opposite side of the door, also noting the damage to the door, the crack.
Now, this next photograph appears to be the same area that appears in the earlier exhibit. Is that correct?
Yes.
But what's different? It's obvious, but what's different about this photograph than the earlier photograph?
The alarm for the door is missing.
And when was this photograph taken?
This photograph was taken on the July the 7th when we executed the second search warrant the next day.
So this was taken after Ms. Van der Ark was allowed to remain in the home the night after the execution of the first search warrant, correct?
That's correct.
And when you go back for the search warrant on the second day, the alarm that you had previously observed has been removed from the door.
That is correct.
And you photographed it for that reason?
Yes, I recognized that it was missing, so I photographed it.
And then working backwards, is this that same door, but just showing it without the alarm and on the second day when you went back?
That is correct.
And what are we looking at in this image?
That is a view of the bathroom on the lower level.
And specifically on that countertop there, on the bathroom counter, there appears to be some type of camera. Is that right?
Yes, there is.
And you've heard Officer Steffanich's testimony earlier today about a camera that appeared to be motion activated or following when he was in the bathroom. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that camera?
That is.
And what are we looking at there?
I had stepped further into the bathroom and took that photograph, so the vanity to the left side looking into the toilet shower area.
And Officer Steffanich noted, and you can see in that photograph, is there a shower curtain on that shower?
There is no shower curtain.
And the camera is just off to the, now in this image, it's just off to on the left side of the screen, is that correct?
That's correct.
But if it's motion activated, it stands to reason that a person in the shower or on the toilet, that camera could turn to track their movements in the bath and or on the toilet.
It'd certainly be in view of it, yes.
And what image are we looking at here?
This is the vanity within that lower level bathroom that we had previously looked at.
Now, if you look back, the camera is no longer in the second image. Was the camera taken as part of the search warrant?
It was.
And so now we're looking down at the vanity, and what, if anything, did you note in terms of the investigation here in that photograph?
Unusual items for a bathroom vanity, such as a bottle of hot sauce and a bag of zip ties.
And the hot sauce is right here, and the zip tie is right here. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Just keep moving for just a little bit. And what are we looking at in this photograph?
That's a close-up of the bottle of hot sauce.
Extreme Regret Scorpion Carolina Reaper hot sauce?
That's correct. Screaming hot.
Screaming hot, yeah. And was this taken into evidence?
It was.
And what are we looking at in this next image?
Those would be the leg shackles that were found in the lower level of the home?
This is probably a good time. You brought some other physical exhibits with you. If we could go ahead and just have those marked at this point, and I'll let you know what to mark what.
What items would you like out?
Let's start with the hot sauce.
Bathroom hot sauce?
Well, there's two hot. It's my understanding you have two types of hot sauce there. Is that correct?
Yeah, one that was located in the bathroom, one that was located on the kitchen floor.
We'll go ahead and mark that first hot sauce, the bathroom one, number 38.
Would you like these removed from the bags?
I think the jury can see, at least with the hot sauce one, I think we can leave that one as is. So we'll mark that one as number 38. And this is, for the record, this is the hot sauce that was removed from the bathroom vent.
Correct.
Permission to publish to the jury, Judge?
Yes.
These have been admitted
By stipulation.
Yep. Pass that around. Okay, now this next item are shackles. We'll go ahead and mark those as number 41. Are these the shackles that we can see in that photograph there?
That is correct.
And maybe this is a clumsy way to ask the question, but what type of shackles are these? Are we talking about types of material?
They are metal shackles, appear to be of the same quality and type that we would use in our employment as police officers.
And does the handcuff key that you would typically carry open these shackles?
Yes.
Just keep that with the envelope. All right, what else do we have?
Cameras. Hot sauce.
This is the second bottle of hot sauce that was recovered from the residence?
Correct. This is the hot sauce that was located on the floor of the kitchen.
Same type of hot sauce, this one located in the kitchen area, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, we'll have this one marked and previously admitted as People's 39.
Zip ties.
And the zip ties are People's Exhibit number 40. Yes, sir.
I can have Mr. Weaver collect those if you want to continue.
I think they're just about done. I just wanted to make sure everybody had an opportunity to look at those before we move to the... There's two more. I believe it's the second hot sauce and the zip ties making their way around. So.
And don't want to hold you up on questioning, so.
I wanted everybody to have an opportunity to look at them before we moved on anyway, so. Jury's had an opportunity to, I think, observe all of those there. Do you need just a moment to put those back in the bag? And again, for the record, those were People's Exhibits. People's Exhibits 38 and 39 were hot sauce, Exhibit 40 was the zip ties, and Exhibit 41 was the leg shackles, all previously admitted by stipulation, Judge. All right, moving on with our exhibits here and photographs, what are we looking at in this photograph?
So that is still in that large common room in the basement of the home, or the lower level of the home, kind of a knee wall there, and you can see a camera sitting on top of a software box, it appears.
And was that projecting out to some area in the
Yeah,
common area?
that specific camera was looking at the area of Timothy's bunk bed and the door to the small room.
And this next image?
Those are some keys that were found in the home.
And there's a number of remote controls attached to those. What do those appear to be?
It was my understanding that those remote controls could activate the sensor alarms that were on the doors.
And this next image?
That's an ice maker that was in the kitchen countertop.
And the next image there?
Same ice maker, just full of ice.
Now, Lieutenant, at some point there were some cell phones seized from the residence, is that correct?
That is correct.
Including a cell phone belonging to Ms. Vander Ark?
That is correct.
And did you have an opportunity, as part of the investigation, did the Norton Shores Police Department perform an extraction of that cell phone?
Yes.
And it seems obvious, but what is the purpose of extracting information from that cell phone?
Often cell phones can contain evidence of the crime that we're investigating.
You may be seated. Mr. Roberts, you can continue.
Thank you. Before we get back to the question I originally asked Ms. Vander Ark, you just obviously had quite a visual reaction there to the jury, a physical reaction in front of the jury looking at those photographs. That's not the first time you've seen these photographs, though, is it?
No, sir.
In fact, you sat in this very courtroom not even a week ago on Friday when we had a hearing about those photographs and looked at those photographs, didn't you?
I did not look at them last week, sir.
You didn't look at them last week?
No, sir, I did not.
But you've looked at them before, haven't you?
I think it was at the prelim, and I gagged that day too. It just wasn't as bad.
Didn't throw up, though?
No, it wasn't as bad.
So if there's video from that hearing that we had last week where you thumbed through the photographs, including the autopsy photos, without vomiting, do you just not remember that as well?
We didn't have the autopsy. We didn't have those photos over at our table, sir. It won't be on the video, I can promise you that.
Well, then I'll return to my original question. Those 3 photographs depict your son hours after you supposedly put him in a warm bath. Did he look like that when you put him in the warm bath, but for the fact that he was alive?
I did not look at him, sir. He was 15. I tried to give him his privacy. It may sound lame, but I intentionally look away. That's why Paul did most of his baths, is because he's 15 and I didn't think that was appropriate.
So you didn't put him in the bathtub?
No, he was already in the tub. I just looked.
Did you get him out of the tub?
I don't remember. I think so. Later that night, I would assume so.
Later that night? How long was he in the tub?
Well, night to me is any time after work. So.
Okay. How long was he in the tub?
I don't think it was long after I got home, but I don't know.
And again, you didn't tell the police officers this when they talked to you about what had happened the night before, did you?
I don't remember. Apparently I didn't.
Well, so you don't remember what you told the police officers?
I remember part of it, but I mean, if you say I didn't tell them, then I trust your word there.
If you told the police officers that you noticed he was skinny, so you made him some bread and put some butter on it and watched him eat 3/4 of it and then sent him to bed, does that refresh your recollection about what you told the officers?
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I don't remember saying it, but
So you don't remember saying those things to the police officer?
no, sir.
And those things clearly didn't happen, did they?
No, sir.
How did he get into his room that night?
I don't remember, sir.
Last page of the text messages. You can go ahead and read that very top text message, please.
Please set your alarm for 6 a.m. I ended up dragging him back to his small room because I wasn't going to risk him having access to the tub or other things overnight. He's still trying to be stupid, but I will tell you more tomorrow while I take you to work, describing how many different ways I proved that he's still faking. He's still doing it, though. It's beyond ridiculous.
I ended up dragging him back to his small room because I wasn't going to risk him having access to the tub or other things overnight. Plan was for him to sleep in the bathroom, wasn't it?
I don't remember, sir. I mean, I know that in the text message, but if that's what the text message says.
Okay. And you had to drag him back to the small room. Again, the small room being the closet, right?
Yes, sir.
Supposedly that he wanted to sleep in.
Yes, sir.
But you had to drag him there. Why was that?
Well, dragging, I mean, that could be anywhere from grabbing a hold of an arm and because someone's not being cooperative. That can be a range of things, sir. So I don't know what I was referring to there.
You've seen the video, haven't you?
No, sir. I haven't seen any videos.
Do you need your memory refreshed about him getting back in the small room that night?
No, sir. I mean, like I said, I'll take the... I don't remember actually doing it.
Did you physically pull him into the room that night?
Yes, sir. I mean...
And did you push him down onto the ground so that he was laying and facing the camera?
If that's what it shows, then yes, sir.
And did you position his face towards the camera?
If that's what it shows,
And did you tell him that he owes you the biggest apology on the face of the earth and then maybe he can get out to go to the bathroom?
If that's what it shows, sir, I don't remember.
And did you return a little while later because he had rolled over away from the camera so that you couldn't see him on camera?
If that's what it shows, I don't remember any of this.
And did you tell him you don't need to open your mouth every time you breathe, dummy, and then hold his mouth shut?
I don't know what I said, sir. I mean, I'll take your word for that's what the video
Oh, you don't have
shows.
to take my word for it. Let's play the video for you.
Sir, that's not necessary. If that's what you're saying it shows. I believe you. I'm not...
So you're acknowledging that the night before Timothy died, hours before he died, you dragged him, looking like that, back into his small room, positioned him in front of a camera, told him he owed you an apology, then came back later because he rolled over away from the camera and held his mouth closed and said, see, you don't have to open your mouth when you breathe, dummy? You're acknowledging you did those things.
If that's what the camera shows, yes, sir.
You didn't put him in a warm bath that night, did you?
Yes, sir, I did.
But you had to drag him away from it?
If that's what it says, I don't... I know that I know he had a hoodie on.
You said the locks on the refrigerator were there because he got into the refrigerator, and if I heard your testimony correctly, he ate a pound of frozen hamburger?
Yes, sir. That was back.
And a bag of chicken nuggets?
A frozen bag of chicken nuggets, yes, sir.
And frozen hamburger?
Yes, sir. The hamburger was not frozen, it was refrigerated.
But frozen chicken nuggets?
Frozen chicken nuggets and raw bacon.
And raw bacon?
Yes, sir.
Frozen raw bacon?
No, it was in the refrigerator.
The frozen stuff was the chicken
Nuggets, that was the only frozen, yes, sir.
Did you think he had an affinity for frozen food?
I didn't know the only thing he ate frozen was the chicken nuggets.
Is that why you sent a text message to Paul while he was in the ice bath at 3:43 that afternoon and said, oh, okay, crazy thought. Tell him if he actually sits up by himself and stays sitting up, he will get some pizza rolls. Don't tell him it's only 2, and I'm okay if they are frozen rather than cooked. Why'd you send that text message?
I don't know.
Don't remember that one either?
No, sir.
So you're not worried about him eating frozen pizza rolls if he sits up?
That's what it says.
You've heard it read several times.
Yes,
You're not
sir.
doubting that's what it says, right?
Yes, sir.
Just another one of those memories that you just gone from your head, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you told Detective Peasky that the reason the locks were on the refrigerator is because he would get into them and he'd leave the doors open, that was a lie, wasn't it?
No, that was also true. He did that as well.
How does putting locks on fix that problem?
He can't get into it then, so it doesn't get left open.
Oh,
No,
so
he was the
wasn't,
only
so
one.
you admit that he was not allowed access to the refrigerator or the freezer or to the pantry?
As far as the refrigerator and freezer, after we put the locks on,
He couldn't get into them, could he?
no, not after that.
And the pantry had an alarm on it as well, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
Okay. We'll move on. We can circle back to that one. Let's talk about some of the other things that you told Detective Peasky. You told Detective Peasky that long after the stroke happened in January, Timothy went on a hunger strike. That was a lie, wasn't it?
Not long after, and no, that was not a lie. That was the truth.
He went on a hunger strike.
Yes, sir, he did. It wasn't immediately, but it was within a few days.
And a hunger strike is refusing to eat, right?
Yes, sir.
So he's refusing to eat food not long after your husband has his stroke, right?
Yes, sir.
Then you don't need to put locks on the refrigerator and freezer, do you? If he's refusing to eat.
He stopped. He started eating again.
He started eating again, so then you decided he's been on a hunger strike, he's eating again, so now we better lock up the food.
No, I did the locks to protect him because he could have killed himself eating the chicken nuggets. I didn't put the locks on after he did the hamburger or the bacon, but the chicken nuggets, it was raw chicken.
Chicken nuggets are cooked, aren't they? They're pre-cooked.
Are they? I didn't even think about that.
But it's okay if he has a frozen pizza roll or two, if he sits up, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. February 18th, 2022. Find out what he has snuck right the heck now. Because I know he has snuck all stuff since you weren't doing what you were supposed to. What do you mean you didn't know he was awake? You both should have been awake at 10:30. I am not happy. You know he wasn't just sitting there. Check the brownies in the kitchen. Check everything not locked away. Check where the flipping keys have been. So starting February, you had to lock up all the food. Make sure he's not getting into the brownies, right?
All of the food was never locked. There's no pictures of it, but one of the lower cupboards had quite a bit of canned food in it, and he actually would get into that and eat stuff out of cans as well. But there was never a lock on that lower cupboard. I don't know if they. I know they took pictures of it because I showed it to them.
So he had access to one cupboard of food?
The pantry wasn't locked the whole time. I know that.
But there were times the pantry was locked or had an alarm on it, wasn't there?
There was no alarm. I never got one for the pantry. I've heard the text messages. I don't remember there being a lock on the pantry, but I've heard them.
228, check his breath. I can almost guarantee he's eaten something. He was chewing on something when he walked downstairs. You and I will be talking about this on a later date when we're both home. Paul's response, yes, he grabbed some chips. I know. So he wasn't allowed to eat chips on 228 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Couldn't have some chips. Right?
I mean, I don't know what happened in that situation.
Well, you didn't say, make sure he didn't get into the frozen chicken nuggets because it might kill him. You said, find out what he's been into, and Paul says he's been into chips. Right?
That's what it says, yes, sir.
So I imagine the next text message then is, oh, great, that's fine, he can have some chips.
Well, no, the point of it was he was sneaking things. He knew better.
Couldn't have chips.
It wasn't that he couldn't have chips. It was that he would sneak things. It
So
was dishonest.
How would he earn getting chips?
He didn't have to earn them. All he had to do was ask. I was trying to teach him not to sneak. He snuck. It wasn't just food. He would sneak in the garage. He would sneak toys. He snuck around and messed with his baby brother's homeschooling materials. I've got like flashcards and stuff for him. He messed with those and got them all out of order.
March 4th is around the time that you acknowledged that he was in zip cuffs. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but I don't think we clarified your final text message where you said, you know what? We will start cutting off the ends once they are tight, so he can't do that. Is that one of the can't remember texts too?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. March 19th. Okay, that only makes partial sense. What did he grab? LOL. Paul's response, I don't know, chips or something small he had in his pocket. Okay, tell him he just restarted his not eating again. That was you. March 19th. Tell him he's just restarted his not eating again. So he took chips. So the punishment for that is now he's not allowed to eat anything again, right?
If that's, I don't remember, sir.
Don't remember that one. Okay. Talking about the punishment outside, Paul says, wall sits question mark, and then you say, push him until it looked like he is about to fall over, please. That was for running up and down the stairs, wasn't it, on April 14th?
If that's what it says, yes, sir.
So you wanted Paul to run him up and down the stairs until he was ready to fall over.
That's what the text says.
What crime had he committed to warrant being physically driven until you fall over?
I have no idea, sir.
April 18th. He managed to come upstairs, yank the locks off of both the freezer and the pantry without you noticing, and he stole a bunch of crap that squished and rattled and did all sorts of stuff, and you slept through everything. KK, no devices until tomorrow, at least my lunch other than messaging, me, which would be very little. Remember that?
I don't remember it, no, sir.
So, but if the text message said he yanked the locks off the pantry, then there were locks on the pantry as of April 18th, right?
Apparently.
$4.26, almost freaking caught him again. I want all the food in the fridge, freezer, or pantry, and those locked. So locking up all the food again on April 26th, correct?
Well, the cupboard still was never locked.
And what was in the cupboard?
A bunch of canned stuff. There's a bunch of cans in there.
Bunch of cans in there?
Yeah.
So you're okay with him getting into a bunch of canned stuff?
I mean, he got into it all the time.
So what do you go to the drawer, get a can opener, open up the can, put it on the stove, warm the stuff up?
No, he didn't. He would eat it straight out of the can.
But that didn't worry
Weird.
you.
Huh?
That didn't worry you?
Well, when I discovered it, it did, but I just never put anything on that cupboard.
So what caused this almost freaking caught him? I want all the food in the fridge and the freezer, the pantry, those locked up, April 28th.
I have no idea, sir. Without having it in there, I don't know what caused it.
It's likely related to the text before that, isn't it?
I don't know.
He keeps pulling his arms down, and that doesn't set off the camera alarm, so please watch him for that. Well, why did he have his arms up?
He was standing against the wall with his arms on his head.
So he'd have to do that for long periods of time, right?
Stand there, but he didn't have to have his arms up the whole time, but I'd set a time limit on how long he had to have his arms up.
And you're either watching or watching an alarm to make sure his arm doesn't go down, right?
From the sound of it.
The response to you about from Paul about locking up the food, it's just he pulled the pantry door lock. What do you mean he just pulled it? Did he take it off? Paul says, yes, that part that attaches to the wall is dangling right now due to sticky locks. Okay, get another one on it right away. Last I saw, they were on the floor in a bag in my room. And you need to make him run up and down the stairs a ton for that, even in the cold and rain. So trying to take some food, not in his cabinet full of canned goods, and pulling the alarm, the pantry lock off, means he doesn't get food, it all gets locked away, and he has to run the stairs, even in the cold and rain, right?
Him being deceitful and sneaky.
He was deceitful and sneaky a lot, wasn't he?
Yes, sir, he was.
Did it ever hurt you it's because he was hungry?
He was that way well before there was issues, well before the stroke. I mean, we always had issues with him over that. His stepmom warned me about that.
You said well before the issues. What issues?
Before his first hunger strike, before any of this, he was extremely sneaky.
Did it ever occur to you that this is not the way to deal with a person who's been on a hunger strike? Locking up their food, locking up their access to food, punishing them when they try to take food? Did that ever occur to you with your brilliant legal mind, as it was, that wasn't a good idea?
I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
April 27th, Timothy is no longer allowed anywhere near the fridge, freezer, or pantry, or any other place where food is. So now it sounds like he can't even get into his cabinet full of canned goods, right?
I mean, that's what it said. We never put it, there was never a lock on that.
But he wasn't allowed near it.
I mean, if that's what it says, I don't.
That was April 27th. Just a few days before, somehow he manages to be 104 pounds, which, as we've heard from the testimony this morning, is still a good 30 pounds under average weight, right?
Well, my kids are, most of them are slim. Paul is 6'1" and 130. He doesn't even hit the 134 for a 5'8" person. And I lose weight extremely easily, so he at 104, he looked average.
February 14th, I may need some help with it, but I am about to get a lock for the pantry door and a lock for the fridge and both freezers. And then we won't leave any food out of those areas, and he won't have access to unlock those. Okay, Paul's response. Your response, if you disagree, please say so, but he is not going to win this. I may need some help with it, but I'm about to get a... Oh, that's the same thing. So you were bound and determined that he wasn't going to win and get food without asking for permission first, weren't you? Even if that meant locking up all the food.
No, sir, I was bound and determined he would stop being deceitful and sneaky.
He is not going to win this.
Because he was being stubborn. He kept sneaking. He snuck stuff. We found out, actually, it was well before the stroke. Paul discovered it. This was before his first hunger strike. I mean, before anything. Paul went down to the downstairs bathroom one day, and I think it was, I want to say it was at least 3 cupboards, if not 4 across. And I guess he'd opened one of the cupboards, and Timothy had snuck a bunch of stuff. I mean, there was wrappers and cans and all sorts of stuff. He did that. I mean, that was, I don't remember if it was before or after my oldest son's wedding, but it was around that time.
And again, your response to all of this, rather than to seek some professional help for him, because of these eating issues that he apparently has, is to restrict even further his access to food, right? And then watch his every move on a camera or with a motion sensor or with an alarm, right?
My response was to try to prevent him from being deceitful and sneaky.
April 28th, do you want to have just the one on the pants for tonight? When I leave, you will have to have both of them on so it doesn't get away with anything. So by April 28th, you were putting multiple alarms on his person, weren't you?
If that's what it says, I didn't realize I even owned more than one. I only remember ordering one.
Okay, take off the arm one, but warn him that I will count how many times he moves his arm from the camera picking it up, and he'll be doing stairs for that tomorrow. That's at 11 o'clock in the evening on 4/28. So you're watching to see how many times he moved his arm when he was in his room?
How many times he dropped his, was he in his room?
I don't know. You tell me. I wasn't there.
The wall,
all I can do is read you the text message. It says, "Okay, take off the arm one," referencing back to the alarms, "but warn him that I will count how many times he moves his arm from the camera picking it up, and he will be doing stairs for that tomorrow." He's not sneaking around there, is he?
No, he was up against the wall, and he was supposed to have his arms on his head for a certain amount of time.
Okay, so at 11 o'clock at night,
Sometimes.
he's supposed to be up against the wall, and you want to make sure that he knows you're going to know how many times he moves his arm, and if it's not satisfactory, he gets to do stairs for that the next day.
Yes, sir, apparently.
April 29th. What did he eat? I ate my burger already. Paul's response. He ate the crust. You remember what your response was?
I don't remember. I heard it the other day, but I don't remember sending that.
Go try to make him throw up, please. That was your response, wasn't it?
If that's what it says.
Don't remember?
No,
You
sir.
put that one in the don't remember category?
Like I said, unfortunately, between January and the time he passed away, I don't have a lot of memories in general of of G, of Timothy, of Paul. I know that there's times that I went over to my in-laws' house, and I don't remember a lot of that. It's not just this.
So the crime he committed here, just so we're clear, wasn't sneaking frozen chicken nuggets or a bag of chips. It was eating the crust of what sounds to be an already half-eaten burger or an eaten burger.
And your response to that is go make him throw up, please. If that's what it says, and the crime was, again, it's being sneaky and deceitful. It was never about it wasn't about the food. It was because he every time we turned around, he was sneaking something. It wasn't just food. He snuck toys. Like I said, he snuck batteries. May 5th, did Timothy work hard enough to sleep tonight so you and I can both get some sleep? He will still have to work super hard tomorrow to earn the same, but wanted to ask about tonight first. Do you want to explain how that falls in with your statement that the reason he wasn't allowed to sleep was because he would keep you guys awake? I actually do remember that. Timothy asked if he could trade off not getting to sleep for something else, and I had him doing chores. There's a lot to unpack in that sentence, so I think I'll just start at the end. So he had to ask for permission to sleep. No, right? This was because he had kept us up. Like I said before, he had kept us up, so he wasn't going to get to sleep. And he asked if he could trade that punishment for another punishment. How was that not having to ask for permission to go to sleep, Ms. Van der Ark? It wasn't because it was a punishment. It wasn't anything about, he didn't have to ask to go to sleep. Yeah, it's, I'll do something else if you let me sleep, right? It was trading a punishment for a punishment. That's... May 16th, where is Timothy? Paul's response, sorry, I was getting dressed. Timothy is on a 5-minute bathroom timer. Well, 4 now. And your response, why is he on a 5-minute timer? He doesn't get 5 minutes. He gets 60 seconds unless he needs to poop, then he gets 2 minutes. He only got to go to the bathroom for 1 minute or 2 minutes, depending on what he had to do? I don't remember. I don't remember ever enforcing that, but obviously I sent it. But doesn't that strike you as, with everything else that happens, it's just cruel and unusual to tell a child, heck, to tell anybody, that you only get a certain amount of time in the bathroom? That doesn't strike you as cruel?
I object to this being argumentative.
It's not argumentative.
It certainly is argumentative. She can answer the question, but certainly the way it's phrased is an argument. There's no question there. It's an argument. You're the judge with a question mark at the end.
No, I really want to know if she thinks it's cruel to put somebody on a bathroom timer, Judge.
And the relevance of if she thinks it's cruel, it's simply argumentative, Judge.
I don't think it's argumentative. It would tend to give some insight, I suppose, to her intent. If Mr. Johnson, you would like to clarify or have it clarify what her definition of cruel or unusual is so that we're all on the same page with the witness, that's fine. But I think the question can be asked so that the objection is overruled.
So your response to that, well, I want my question answered. Is it cruel to make a child go to the bathroom on a timer? Yes, sir. May 17th, before I left, when I was having you sign into the camera and turning on the sound for the camera so you would hear the alarm if it went off. And by the way, I told him yesterday that if he did that in the garage again, he would sleep in the garage for a night. So let him know that he would be doing that as soon as the temperatures are safe enough for him to make him do it. So you were going to have him sleep in the garage for a night. I actually remember that text message, and I was frustrated. I never would have done it, but I was frustrated. I type really fast, and I admit I have a bad habit of saying stuff when I'm upset, and then calming down later and it being totally different. But I do remember that, and it never happened. It didn't happen? What didn't happen? You didn't make him sleep in the garage? No. Oh. Yes, thank goodness for that. Same day, 12:53. Did he heat the pancake in a cup? Otherwise, it's just powder, and it's not safe to eat without being heated either. When it actually says, did he hear the pancake in the cup? I assume he meant heat the pancake in the cup, right? Do you remember this text exchange? Vaguely. And Paul's response, no, he just ate the powder. And your response, that could make him sick, the dummy. Tabasco in his mouth and make him swallow, and lots of it, and do it every 30 minutes until you leave. This was May 17th. Do you remember this exchange? I don't remember the Tabasco because I never called it. I said Tabasco. Tabasco in the mouth and make him swallow, and lots of it, and do it every 30 minutes until you leave. I don't remember that being a part of it. I remember part of the conversation, but I don't remember that part of it. Well, but Timothy obviously didn't like Tabasco, did he? We didn't have any Tabasco sauce. That's why it doesn't make any sense. We had hot sauce, but we didn't have Tabasco sauce. That's
Okay, so the punishment for eating pancake in a cup is Tabasco or some type of hot sauce in the mouth. Is that right?
Sneaking something dangerous? If that's what, I mean, if you're asking what he was punished for, it would be for sneaking.
You were concerned for his well-being.
Yes, sir.
Right. That's why you're having this text exchange, right?
Yes, sir.
You're really concerned for him at that point.
Yes, sir. Those pancakes in a cup had, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but I think they had eggs in them.
That could make him sick, the dummy. Do you always refer to him as a dummy when you're worried about him?
No, sir. You can look at the text messages. I hardly ever said anything like that.
Hardly ever said anything like that? It's not a good idea to call a child a dummy, is it?
I never would to him. I was frustrated, like I said.
Later on in that same text exchange, Paul says he also crapped himself. And your response is, what? In his pants? Seriously? Paul, I told him to take a 5-minute shower. Make him do the work in the garage with nothing on below the waist. Just make sure the garage door stays closed, and then he can stand down against the wall with nothing on below the waist until you leave. Just please make sure G does not go downstairs at all while he's standing there like that. Break that up again. So make him do the work in the garage with nothing on below the waist. So his punishment for having an accident was that he had to do chores without pants and underwear on, right?
If that's what it says, I don't remember this.
That's pretty humiliating, isn't it?
I mean, he was by himself. It wasn't, I would never, I mean, I don't remember this at all, sir.
You don't remember that at all?
No, sir.
But you did have the presence of mind at that time that says, just make sure the garage door stays closed because you don't want anyone seeing him doing that, do you?
Well, I didn't want the garage door open ever because we had a lot of stuff out there. So.
And then he can stand against the wall with nothing on below the waist until you leave. So in addition to cleaning the garage, then he has to stand against the wall with no pants and underwear on, correct?
I mean, if that's what it says, I don't remember this.
Please make sure G does not go downstairs at all. Don't remember that either.
No, sir.
Didn't want, but you physically typed these words into your phone and sent them to Paul to make sure that G doesn't see Timothy like that, right?
Yes, sir.
His clothes need to be washed right away, but he gets to be without anything below the waist for a while today. Did he say why the heck he did that? And Paul's response is he said he didn't want to disturb anyone. He had to ask for permission to go to the bathroom, didn't he?
No, sir, not usually. If he was on the wall, he did. Because he was supposed to be standing still.
Just the handcuff transactions, we've talked about that. So let's get back to your statement to Detective Peasky. Again, you didn't tell the detective about the warm bath, but you told him that you realized how skinny he was the night before and threatened to take him to the ER if he didn't eat. That's not true, is it?
No, sir.
And you didn't make him a piece of toast and give it to him and make him eat it, did you?
No, sir. I have no idea why I said that. I was traumatized. I actually didn't come out of the first month I was in jail. I wish the Lydia that used to work for the public defender's office visited me, and she said it was pretty obvious that I was under severe trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't eat for my first month.
This was while they were searching your house on July 6th while you were sitting in your house.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking, oh, I better tell him. Yeah, he looked a little skinny last night, and I thought I should take him to the ER and then make some toast with butter on it and watched him eat it, and he walked away. None of that happened, did it?
No, I don't even remember that.
But you had the presence of mind to lie to the officer at the time when he was investigating.
Like I said, I was traumatized. I don't remember this, sir.
He wouldn't come upstairs when she said goodnight. She walked down to the last couple of stairs and asked for a hug and a kiss. That didn't happen either, did it?
I don't remember. I mean, I would assume not, but I don't remember.
In fact, you're acknowledging that video that shows you dragging him into a small room, looking like he does when he dies, calling him a dummy for breathing with his mouth open, is actually what you did to him the night before he died, right?
If that's what it shows, I don't remember, sir.
Your statement to Detective Peasky continues. She got ready for work in the morning and went to check on him. She said his name, but he did not respond. She put her hand on his chest and he was not breathing. She remembered her 20-year-old son, Paul, helping her get him off the bed. That was all a lie, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You know where he was when you found him that morning, right?
In the closet.
In the small room. And prior to that, you told Officer Stefanich, well, it was about 5:30, he fell out of bed and I had to go and put him back into bed. Also a lie, right?
Yes, sir. I have no idea why I said that, sir. Like I said, I was traumatized.
You told Detective Peasky that Timothy stated he was on a hunger strike 2 weeks ago. This is 2 weeks before he dies. He goes on a hunger strike.
Yes, sir.
Did he go on a hunger strike?
Yes, sir, he did.
Show me the text message between you and Paul where it says that he's on a hunger strike.
I don't know if I ever texted him about it, sir. We talked about it, but I never texted. I mean, if it's not in there, I don't. We didn't text about everything.
You never texted Paul about him being on a hunger strike?
No, I would have told him that in person. I wouldn't have said that over text message. That would have been important.
But Paul has to watch him for the day when you're not home, right?
Yes, sir.
So it'd be Paul's responsibility to get him some food, right?
Yes, sir.
So while he's on a hunger strike, instead of talking about the hunger strike, your response to that is give him 4 slices of bread with hot sauce on it, and if he eats them and waits 30 minutes, he can eat 4 without. Right?
I don't know what day that was, sir, if you're...
Well, let's find it and make sure.
I mean, we tried to, just because he
with-
wasn't eating, we tried to feed him. That was...
And the best solution you come up with is force him to eat the bread with hot sauce on it. That was the response to the hunger strike?
I don't remember, sir. I mean, it wasn't, we tried to feed him. That's all I remember.
So when would that hunger strike have started?
End of June, late June.
Again, you never looked at the bone thin photo to see what kind of condition he was in before he goes on this hunger strike, right?
No, sir.
And did it ever occur to you, like, he's on a hunger strike now? And I know Paul had sent me that text about, he's bone thin. I think we actually need to feed him. We need to actually feed him. It never occurred to you that maybe you should go back and look at that text message now and see what condition he was in at the time?
No, sir. With me, when something's out of sight, it's out of mind. Once that's scrolled up, I don't scroll back to the text messages.
Out of sight, out of mind. That applies to Timothy as well, doesn't it?
That applies to a lot of things, sir. It's not just, I mean, if
Not
Little Man
just
wasn't...
Timothy.
No, if Little Man was not in front of me right then I wasn't necessarily thinking about him. Paul wasn't.
June 19th, you can do his bread with hot sauce at any time, though preferably sooner rather than later. Put more hot sauce on than you did yesterday, please. And he has to eat at least 3 slices with hot sauce, but he may have more as long as I have plenty of hot sauce on him. That was June 19th. Was he on his hunger strike then?
I would assume not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an exact date.
That was about 2 weeks before he passed away, and that's when you said the hunger strike started. Is that right?
Yes, sir. But
Did it occur to you that the hunger strike was because he didn't enjoy eating bread with hot sauce on it?
did it occur to me? No, sir, because he did it way back in January, and that wasn't the case.
June 21st, how is everything? Did you make him eat his bread with hot sauce? Yeah, and that's when it's he gets 4 with hot sauce and then 4 more 30 minutes. That was June 21st. You don't know if the hunger strike started there then?
I don't know, sir. Like I said, I can only guesstimate. That's... The only reason I remember the 3 weeks the first time around is because it was right after the stroke, and he started eating again before the end of January.
Right. Did you think he's on a second hunger strike now? I really need to get him some treatment for this.
Did I think along those lines? No, sir. He admitted to being... He told us very early on after the stroke that he was taking advantage of that because we didn't have the extra set of eyes with my husband, and he was being difficult. He actually, Timothy told me that his dad and stepmom used to let him get away with everything. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I've always been the stricter parent anyway, and he told me on multiple occasions that if he thought that if he pushed me hard enough that I would just quit making him do stuff and I wouldn't make him cooperate.
All right, well, here's an exchange from June 29th. Maybe this can shed some light on the hunger strike feeding situation. Trust me, I know he's thin. Trust me, I know he's thin. That was your text, not Paul's. You sent
I
Paul
don't
that
remember the
right?
text, but I mean...
You don't remember that one either?
No, sir.
Trust me, I know he's thin. That being said, he told me a week and a half ago that he wanted to be thin to make me feel bad for punishing him. You don't get to grump at him for that, though I already lit into him plenty for it. Is this while he's on his hunger strike?
I mean, I would assume so, yes, sir.
This is June 29th. This is
Yes,
about
sir.
8 days before he dies.
Yeah, I would assume so.
And Paul's response is, of course he did. And your response to that is, yeah, so while I want to fix it, he will get most of his calories from plain bread and rice for, pulling that. He will get plenty of calories, but not get to enjoy them that way, That doesn't sound like somebody who's on a hunger strike to me. Can you clarify that for me, please?
I don't remember, but I know he wasn't eating. There was.
Continues on. KK. So yeah, we'll tell you more about what he can eat later, June 29th.
Just because we offered him food doesn't, we offered him food when he was on the hunger strike in January. At least I did. I would assume Paul did as well. But just because you offered stuff, you couldn't, even though it says try to force him to eat, you couldn't force him to eat stuff. If he didn't.
You heard Paul's testimony yesterday that he had to force him to eat the bread sauce, the bread with hot sauce on it, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I don't know what he means by that.
It's interesting you use the phrase, we tried to tempt him with food. That came up while he was in the ice bath, didn't it? Tempting him with food.
Do you mean the day before he passed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If I said yes, sir.
You told Paul to heat up some pizza rolls because G needed the pizza rolls anyway, right? You remember that?
Yes, sir. I don't remember the text message.
Don't remember. So this falls in the I don't remember category as well. Is that right?
Like most of it.
Yes, the text message says, heat one up, hold it in front of him, but be ready to pull it away if he tries to grab it. You don't remember sending any of that?
I don't remember it, no, sir.
You heard the text messages read yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
Is it fair to say that you just don't remember those text messages?
Most of them, I don't remember.
Most of them?
Yeah. But then you've got your big bind. I can pretty much guarantee I don't remember most of that either. I don't. And it's not just my text with Paul.
You don't remember anything?
No, sir, I don't.
But somehow you were able to hold down a job as a judicial clerk during that time period, right?
Yes, sir.
You were able to at least provide dog training to one client at that time, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you remembered to tell Paul to get up and walk Sharma just about every morning, didn't you?
That would be automatic. It would be reflex. If it's in there, then I would assume so, yes, sir.
That would be reflex. To tell Paul to get up and walk Sharma, is that what you're saying?
If it's a habit, if I do it enough times, then... And plus it served to get Paul out of bed when I left. Because he liked to go back to sleep.
You told the officer that there was an alarm on the basement door. This is the small closet, because there was some sewing stuff stored in it. That was a lie, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. There was sewing stuff stored in it before he asked to do that, but
the alarm
I don't know why I told him that.
The alarm wasn't on there because there was sewing stuff on it, was there?
No, sir.
The alarm was on it because Timothy was supposed to be in there, right?
As far as I know, like I said, I don't.
You don't remember, but you were able to lie to the police officer at the time?
I don't remember talking to the police. I don't remember this part of the conversation with the police officer, sir.
You tell the officer that there were cameras in the home because G would strip down naked and wander around. Well, that wasn't the only reason the cameras were in the house, was it?
No, sir.
You left out all the other details about that you had to monitor Timothy and make sure he didn't go certain places and sneak places and be deceitful, right? You didn't tell the officer that, did you?
Apparently not. I don't know why I didn't, but...
You said he fell out of bed and you went and had to get him and put him back into bed. He never fell out of bed that night, did he?
Not as far as I know. I don't remember, sir.
Well, you know he didn't sleep in the bed that night, don't you?
Well, yeah, so I'm sorry.
Right. So saying that you got up at 5:30 and had to put him back in the bed, and then you changed it to 30 minutes because it's sometime with an ending in a 30 because you learned at that point the rigor mortis had already set in and he'd been deceased for a number of hours. That was still a lie, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, I don't remember any of this. I'm sorry.
The hot sauce in the bathroom downstairs was for food. But it wasn't, was it? The hot sauce was for punishment, right?
It was also to put on food.
But you didn't mention that, we also use hot sauce as a form of punishment, did you?
Apparently not.
I'm guessing you probably didn't mention to the officer, we also had the crazy idea yesterday to pour some hot sauce on his penis for a punishment. You didn't mention that either, did you?
Apparently not, sir. Like I said, I don't remember. You told the officer that you did not restrict Timothy's movement at night with shackles. That was also a lie, wasn't it? Again, I don't remember, sir. I know we talked about it, but as far as overnight, no. But you would restrict his movement with shackles, wouldn't you? Whether it was zip ties or handcuffs or leg shackles. I mean, I can only go back based on the text messages. I don't know. Why did you wait 20 minutes to call 911 after you found Timothy deceased in the small closet in the small room? I have no idea, honestly. I learned of that gap, just a couple of days ago. The whole day is surreal to me, so I have no idea why we waited like that. I don't know. I can't imagine waiting, but apparently it happened. I don't know. Do you remember Paul asking you, should we call 911? I don't remember him ever asking. Because I was the one that called, and I was the one, I remember performing CPR, and he did help me out a little bit when I got tired to take over a little bit. But, I can't imagine ever saying no to that. But if it's on the video, that's what you said, right? If it's on there. So if the video showed that it begins with you with movement outside of the room at about 6:19:21, and 911 is actually called you tell Paul you have to call at 6:37, so that's about 18 minutes, isn't it? Let's see, 19, yeah, that's 18 minutes. And Timothy was never responsive to you, was he? No, sir. His eyes were wide open, completely glazed over, weren't they? As far as I remember, yes, sir. He never moved, never took a breath, never did anything, did he? No, sir. And while this is all going on, you tell Paul, we'll have to tell them he was on a hunger strike, right? You remember telling him that? No, I don't. Don't remember that either? No, sir. Do you remember telling Paul, or do you remember saying, put his pants on to make it look like he's been this way? I don't remember saying that. Do you remember asking Paul to put the belt on to make it sure that that's the way he looked? No, sir. But if they're on video, you said those things, yes, right? Sir. Ms. Van Ark, isn't it true? Timothy had just become nothing more than an annoyance for you, and he wasn't even a human being in your eyes anymore. That is absolutely not true.
The jury listened to it all. They cried. The court staff cried. Reporters cried. The entire courtroom broke under the weight of Timothy's suffering. Timothy's siblings, Millie and Nolan, spoke at the trial. They described a loving, intelligent, gentle brother. The kind of child who should have had a future.
I am Timothy's oldest brother, and unfortunately the oldest child of Shanda van der Ark. I live with my wife 900 miles from here, and in July of 2022 I was working 60-hour work weeks, trying to build a career when I received a phone call that I never thought I would get. My baby brother Timothy was gone. For 2 days I reeled with no explanation, until I was informed that our own mother was in jail for his murder. Somehow, making an entirely unexpected and deeply awful situation worse. I thought that things were different than when I was younger. I thought my mother had changed for the better. Not one day has been easier since then. I've had to leave my career behind. My wife has to watch helplessly as I struggle, day in and day out, wondering how none of us knew what was going on, wondering if I told Tim I loved him enough times for him to remember, up until the very end. I have to wake up every day and pretend that I am who I was before Timothy died. I have to pretend to be Nolan so that my friends and coworkers and family won't worry about me more than they already do. I'm surrounded by people who love me and care about me, but not a single person besides my sisters who understand how hard it is. Timothy wasn't surrounded by people who loved him when he died. And if I had known that, nothing could have stopped me from rescuing him and holding him in my arms and telling him I love him, that his big brother's got him, just like I did the day he was born. But because of Shanda Vanderark's actions, I instead got to cradle the bag of his ashes in my arms, just like I did the day he was born. In all my life, I only knew one thing that my little brother didn't like. He hated goodbyes. If he had to say goodbye to anyone, he would cry, and he would hold you, and he would say, "Don't go." But now I'm the one crying, but I never got to say goodbye. I will always love Timothy like I always have, and it kills me to think about. But I know he loved even his abuser and killer up until the very end, because unlike me, that's all he was capable of, love. I, on the contrary, want to stand here and express the anger and hatred that I feel, but if I'm honest, all that's just a mask, a bandage I try to put over the hole in my heart that was reserved for Timothy, but is now just filled with pain and remorse for every hug, high five, and I loved you that I might have missed in the time that I had with my sweet baby brother. So now I turn to the justice system in hopes that in addition to serving the maximum penalty, that there will be no appeals or second chances. If I can't have my brother back, she shouldn't have her freedom back. And lastly, I want everyone to know that to those who knew him, even that wouldn't feel like justice. Because the life of one sweet little blue-eyed boy is not equivalent to that of a murderer.
I'm Millie. I'm Timothy's youngest older sister. I'm 2 years older than him. One of my earliest memories I have was being taken away from my parents by CPS. My two older brothers rode in a car ahead of us, and me and Timothy rode together in the second car. And in every picture we have as a family, Timothy was always right by my side. We were the two youngest, the two smallest. We were the two that sat in the middle in the backseat car rides with the too small car. The last two to get hand-me-downs, the two that never had to worry about not getting homework help from an older sibling. He was always 2 years behind me, so every time I got to the next level in school, that's how many years I had to wait for him to follow along. When I was in 8th grade, he was in 6th, and there was a student in my science class that started talking about him, trying to start rumors. I stood up right as class was starting, as people were quieting down, and I shouted at him to never talk about my little brother. People could say whatever they wanted about me, I didn't care, but not about him, and never about him, because I was his big sister. It was my job to protect him. I like to say I don't regret things in my life, that every mistake I've made has made me who I am today, but when Timothy died, I couldn't stop regretting. I regret not hugging him more and teasing him so much instead of telling him that I loved him every once in a while. I regret not putting aside my differences with Shanda and Paul just to check in on him. I regret not dancing with him the last time I saw him at our brother's wedding. These are the things that I can't remedy now. There's no fixing what's been done. No way to redo it all over again, and that's my regret. That I couldn't protect him when he needed me most. Timothy was so smart. He could take anything apart with any tools, or none at all. He had trouble focusing, but when he did, he was just as smart as the rest of his class. He made people angry, yes, but then he would look at you with those big baby blue eyes, and you could never stay mad at him. It took me 6 months of therapy after he died to even properly feel the emotions of his death. And I'm still in therapy today. I've been trying so hard since he passed away just to try to let people know of him. Let people know that he was loved, that there are people out there grieving for him. I'm here today for him, because I was asked to speak for him, because I was given a victim impact statement for him instead of a witness one, because the victim of this crime can't speak for himself. I knew him his whole life. I held him the day he was born, and I continued to try to hold his hand as long as he was by my side, until he wasn't. I want the woman who killed my little brother to face the highest punishment possible. I want her detained for the rest of her life so she can't hurt anyone else. And I want the world to know that Timothy was wanted, if not by her, then by me. He was loved by me.
Paul Ferguson, who carried out many of the abuses under his mother's command, testified against her. He admitted what he did. "It felt like Stockholm Syndrome," he said. "I just wanted her to be proud of me." The jury didn't need long. After just 1 hour of deliberation, they returned with a verdict, guilty on all counts. Shanda Vander Ark was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 50 to 100 years for first-degree child abuse. She didn't even attend the sentencing. She was too emotionally shattered by the evidence she had seen of her own crimes. Paul Ferguson was sentenced to 30 to 100 years. The judge made it clear. This court believes Mr. Ferguson is one step away from becoming a psychopath like his mother. Before closing the case, Judge Matthew Casel held up a photo of a smiling, healthy Timothy, a child full of life before the torture began. "This is how I choose to remember him," he said. "Not as a victim, not as a corpse, but as a child who deserved to live."
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Vander Ark, do you wish to say anything prior to sentencing? Well, first and foremost, for the individuals here to speak on Timothy's behalf, I appreciate you being here. It kind of struck me throughout the trial, who was here for Timothy. And at one point in time, I worried that we may not have anyone to give a victim impact statement. And that to me made me very sad, quite frankly. Horrified more than anything, but quite sad. And I'm happy that two individuals took time to be here from miles across the country. And out of the horrible situation, that makes me feel a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit better. Mr. Johnson makes the same argument today that he made at the trial, that this was just negligence. This was her not understanding what was going on. She was really trying to do the punishment. She was trying to be a good parent, and she just didn't realize that Timothy was in such a horrible condition. And I found myself, especially during closing argument, quite frankly, finding myself almost believing that. And afterwards, after the trial, I sat in my car after leaving that day, trying to understand, why I could feel that way. And what I realized is that I wanted to feel that way because I didn't want to accept the reality of the situation here. And the reality of the situation here is that this person, Ms. Vander Ark, you intentionally engaged in these acts. This wasn't negligence. This is not understanding why, but you intentionally did this with a goal. And I think Mr. Johnson's correct. I don't believe there was an intent to kill here, because you would have lost the very thing that you wanted to torture. Without him, you have no one to torture, except maybe the younger children. So I don't believe you intended to kill him. I think you intended to continue on torturing him for as long as you possibly could. The why, I don't know. But all the information that I have in front of me, and I sat down, I really thought about this, and I looked over my notes from the trial, demonstrate that this wasn't negligence. This wasn't you not understanding what was going on. You look through, I read through every single text message of the exhibit, 2,000 plus pages, to try to understand what the heck was going through your mind. And what became entirely clear to me is that you knew exactly what you were doing. Immediately afterwards, when police arrive at the home, you immediately concoct this lie about he's been on a hunger strike. He was in the bed, and I checked on him, and I gave him some food, and all this stuff. You got Paul involved in it. At one point in time, put baggy clothes on him. Put clothes on him to make sure, I guess, that he looks like he was actually wearing them, that he was hiding his poor condition, even though you already received text messages, weeks earlier of how bad he looked. You testified yourself how highly intelligent you were. In fact, that's the only thing that you testified to that I think was actually true. You were quite proud of that, boasting how intelligent you were. And not only that, but your actions in hiding this child. You hid him from his grandparents. You made sure that your other son, G, or little man as you call him, didn't see him. Those text messages talk about not wanting anyone to see him. I want to see him in that condition. You made sure that the garage was closed. When you sent him out there with no pants on to clean out the garage. I don't want to believe it because I don't understand. I can't wrap my mind. I've been trying now for this entire case to wrap my mind around how somebody could do something so horrific, not only to another human being, but to their own child. I'm a father myself. I love my kids. I love them with unconditionally. But quite frankly, there's a mother's love that I've seen that is striking. And anybody who's a parent who's married, most mothers, and not all, but most mothers have such a strong love for their children. And to see what you did to your own child. I don't know if there's a word in the English language to describe how to describe it. I only can come up with just horrific. You intentionally and systematically tortured this child. And let's call it what it is. It's torture. You tortured this child. This wasn't punishment. This wasn't trying to curb his behavior. You tortured him. You monitored him obsessively. You all the things you did. I looked through every one of the messages. Bread with hot sauce, wall sits, up and down the stairs, sleep deprivation, ice baths, making him puke up food, monitoring his bathroom time, giving him 60 seconds in the bathroom if he went to urinated, or 5 minutes if he had a bowel movement. You made him sleep in the closet. You threatened to make him sleep in the garage. You put Tabasco directly in his mouth. You made him put his hands over the head. Made him work in the garage with no pants. And there's two other things that didn't come out in the trial that were in the messages. One, that there was talk of blindfolding him, depriving him of his physical sight as a punishment. And the last thing that struck me is just absolutely horrific in terms of your thinking. There was mentioning of giving him salt water as a punishment. One of the text messages talks about, hey, tell Paul or tell Tim that I'm not going to do the salt water punishment. And your reasoning for not punishing him was that, oh my God, we can't get him salt water, that could hurt him, that could kill him. But it was because you didn't want to give him another excuse to sit down on the toilet because he'd have diarrhea. He'd have diarrhea, and so he would have an excuse to sit down for a few more minutes while he was diarrhea from salt water. That was your excuse. That was your justification, not that it would hurt him. And you did so for what? Because of some punishment. You wanted to regulate his food, even though you yourself testified that he didn't really gain a lot of weight. Toward the end of these text messages, you and Paul are talking about not wanting him to win. He's not going to win. I didn't allow pictures to be shown in open court of Timothy as he was when he died because I didn't want people to remember him like that. Of all the things you took away from him, one thing I didn't want you to take away from him was at least some shred of dignity. And then I also thought, well, I'm a judge, I'm a human being. I don't know how to I don't know how to right this wrong. We try to do that. I try to do that from the bench every day. There's no way to right this wrong except impose a sentence that essentially takes away your freedom. And I thought to myself, what do I do? And I will tell you this. I'm choosing not to remember your son dead, looking like a Holocaust victim, and I'm choosing to remember like that. And you can't even look at him. That's how he was. A beautiful child with a lot of life in his eyes. That's who your son was. And you took that from him. I'm choosing to remember him as a happy individual with life, not as an individual. And that's the picture I want people to remember of your son. You took that from him. You took it from him. For what reason, I don't know. Mr. Johnson's right. There is something broken in you. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't negate what you did here. So, besides remembering him like that, I'm not going to let you hide in the darkness anymore. People know what you are now. They know what you did. You're not able to hide in the darkness anymore. Timothy won. And he won because we know what you did to him now. It's not hidden anymore. We know who you are. That's the way that I'm going to honor him. You don't win because justice, thank God, in this case prevailed. I can't even imagine if you had been able to resuscitate him. He'd be still suffering. So if there's anything I'm grateful for, would be that he finally passed away so you couldn't continue to torture him like you did. It's a sentence of the court. First as to count 2, child abuse in the first degree. Court sentences you 50 years to 100 years in prison. Credit for 575 days. Court is exceeding guidelines in this case. The court finds that the amount of torture that I've indicated in terms of the long-term suffering that Mr. Ferguson, Timothy went through justifies on a reasonable grounds to depart from the guidelines. Used to be the standard was the guidelines. If the guidelines didn't take into consideration all the elements, I don't think they would take into consideration the amount of absolute systematic, consistent torture that you engaged in here. I think that's enough reasons to justify departing from the guidelines. There's a $68 state cost, $130 crime victim rights assessment. As to count 1, felony murder. It's a sentence of the court that you serve a term within the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life without parole. Again, there's credit for 575 days that you've already served. There's a $68 state cost. The crime victim assessment fee has already been assessed, and the court is going to assess a $450 public defender fee. Ms. Vander Ark, you have a right to file an application. You have a right to file an appeal. Request for this, if you are unable to afford an attorney, one will be appointed to a public expense. Request for the assistance of a lawyer must be made within 42 days from today's date. Clerk is handing you a form that you must complete. Return to the court in that 42 days. Mr. Roberts.
Judge, just briefly, I believe you did indicate you would order that $5,000 in restitution.
Oh, I did. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. The court will order $5,000 in restitution at this time to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, with a caveat that Mr. Johnson, you can certainly, if after the documentation, you can certainly ask for a restitution hearing and to contest that amount.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else for the record, Mr. Roberts?
No, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
All right, we're adjourned.
If Timothy's story touched something deep inside you, don't let it end here. Talk about it. Share it. Let people know what happened to this boy, not just to mourn him, but to protect others like him. Because the next Timothy might still be alive, still waiting, still hoping someone will notice. No child should suffer in silence, and no story like this should disappear unnoticed. So stay with us. Stay informed. Stay aware. Not for views, not for clicks, but for every child who still needs someone brave enough to care. For Timothy.